Never sat on a couch more over the last 4 days, but actually more on the bed. Every documentary you can possibly think of, I got it cranked out. So whatever you need, just let me know.
Well, you missed the best one. You told us you haven't watched Clipped yet.
No, I have not seen. Haven't seen Clipped yet. I'll catch up on that right after the show's done. I'll go right back in there and get in there.
What have you been checking
routine.
out? That good, huh?
Wow, never heard of that one.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Forget I asked. Yeah, never mind.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Trev. Here's the thing. Sometimes you get into, let's say a lot of mine have, some of them are politics-oriented. Some of them have certain things to do with certain countries that are run a certain way. Let's see what other avenues I went down. A lot of... let's just say a lot of news type of documentaries. We'll call it that way.
Okay.
Super fun way to spend time.
Yeah, and just something where you don't feel well. You just want to dig into the state of the world. It sounds like a nice, relaxing couple of days.
You do a rabbit hole for like an hour. I did like a 4-day rabbit hole on everything that's wrong with the world. When you're feeling kept going.
When you're feeling lousy, why don't you want to just like Scooby-Doo reruns and the Brady Bunch and just chill out and be mindless?
Price is Right.
The Price is Right. There you go. Yeah, just something easy.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Maybe it could have been all the I had kind of a few different kind of Theraflus I was on. Maybe I was taking me down different paths of the world. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the meds. Maybe it was the meds.
That sounds incredibly unpleasant.
I was going to say, being sick is bad enough, and then you double down on the state of the universe? That sounds awful.
I did start watching, I think you guys had mentioned this a little bit at one point, and I'm behind on it, so I'm starting from the beginning. Started watching Full Swing on Amazon.
Oh, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I like it. It's funny. I want to hear why you like it because I watch golf. I follow the PGA Tour. I have followed the politics of LIV versus PGA and all of those things, and I find it interesting because I love golf. But that you are not a golfer and don't watch golf, that you like that is interesting to me.
So I know most of. You're right. I don't watch golf, but I know the names like Rory McIlroy. Okay, I know that. I know Jordan Spieth. Like I know some of these guys. It's not like I don't know them. Scotty Scheffler. I don't know much about him. I like that there's some storylines there. I like that I get to know.
Tell me what they are because I don't know what they are.
What do you mean?
Like they're the least interesting human beings walking the face of the earth. Like I understand the politics of the two tours is interesting, but Rory's got a little bit of heat on him. I like Rory because he will say things and. Well, there's some stuff going on in Rory's life right now that I'm very interested in. I like that a lot. Like I like that he's doing that. But those guys to me are just as dull as the day is long.
So it's not that they have. I'm not watching Dennis Rodman's life.
Right,
I'm not watching, and I know that I'm not. I think it's more the fact that I know that these players are. Who's the dude that was ranked 70th and got into the U.S. Open?
Joel Damon.
Okay, that's exactly. Okay, I don't know anything about this guy. I liked his story, and, he had some personal stuff in his life that happened. Now, all of a sudden, you find yourself rooting for him when he's in the U.S. Open Championship. He's leading he's on the top of the leaderboard going into the weekend. It added something to me that I don't know the players, right? And I think anytime you know anything about these players, it makes it a little bit more interesting.
You perked up when I said Rory McIlroy of late. So I know you're not a golf person,
but I'm on the internet.
But that's what I'm getting at. Where did the Rory McIlroy Amanda Balionis thing cross your path?
I think I follow several sports related funny things, and I've just been seeing the behind the scenes of
what I missed.
There's a analyst on the golf
Amanda
channel?
Balionis.
Oh, she's all over the.
She's all over it, and she's really good at what she does. And she is a golf reporter / interviewer / host on the PGA Tour coverage.
Kind of like a Malika Andrews.
I would say more like a Tom Rinaldi kind of situation. And she's very good at what she does. She works for CBS mostly, and she's also very beautiful. And Rory McIlroy 2 weeks ago, month tops, just out of nowhere, filed for divorce. Everybody's like, whoa.
And Rory and his wife have been connected
Yes,
for a
very
while.
public. Very public. And then this most recent tournament up in Canada, the Canadian Open, the RBC Open in Canada. I love that we get to talk golf. This is so exciting. And it has nothing to do with golf. And then they appeared to be enjoying one another's company after the telecast, Amanda and Roy. I have no idea.
But you can, if you're single, you can do that.
He filed for divorce, and TMZ posted some pictures of them embracing.
Yeah.
And
then,
hell does that mean? What do you mean? What's going on here? I mean, they're embracing where?
At the tournament.
Well, that's not very secretive.
Well, he doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a secret. He's not married
and also
anymore.
Could mean nothing. Could mean nothing.
Could mean that she really liked his 7-iron into number 14. Could have meant that. Yeah, who knows?
That's a golf way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a golf way to put it right
And I've
there.
also seen like the images of them like parting ways, like on the I'm assuming they have a studio desk for CBS, and her just talking to him, but like talking after the show goes to break.
Yeah.
And just chatting like very close friends would chat.
Yes. So it's exciting, and that's the number one story in the golf world. Not the PIF, not live. It's terrific.
Is that going to end up making storylines? We'll find out. I want to if it's full
Season
swing.
3 out.
I was going to say full swing. They're 2 seasons in.
Yeah.
Are you caught up in it or not? Not at
No,
all.
I've watched them both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm about halfway through the first season.
Yeah. Well, that first season was 2 years ago. The season 2 was last year's golf season. So I'm assuming they're doing it a third year.
So season 1 just the live golf thing.
It was the initial split.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still watching where Ian Poulter is basically making a decision of if he's going, is he not? Like I'm behind, definitely behind on.
Well,
that.
it's funny because the whole thing kind of spun back around again. That when it first happened, it was World War III, right? That the two sides were sniping each other like crazy.
Yeah.
The temperatures have come way down. Everybody's calmed significantly, and it looks like a reconciliation is imminent, but it's felt that way for about 6 months. That's the golf of it all. That's not interesting.
Okay.
These scandalous hugging is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And the really bad picture of Tiger from last
Oh my
weekend.
gosh!
Have you seen this, Al?
Jesus Lord, where have I been?
It's
Because I went from full swing to wars in different countries and then back to
just
full
skip
swing.
that.
So,
Skip the wars in different countries.
all right,
Tiger's
let
at
me
a
find
poker
Tiger.
table looking old. But by the way, we're going to get to this. It's a very sore subject for me all of a sudden.
Embrace it.
Looking a little disoriented. Is that fair, Em?
Yeah, but still yoked.
Oh, very, very strong. Like almost like a football player
robot.
big.
Yeah.
But he looked a little glassy-eyed, shall we
He
say.
was very disassociative.
Yes.
Like you
there
can
you go.
see that he's checked out behind the eyes and just staring at the table. I'm not sure what game they were playing, but
He did a poker game, so
Yeah,
maybe he'd had
yeah.
a
Poker face.
chilling out and having a good time. But it looked
his hairline does not look great.
there's a reason you rarely see him without a hat on.
He had a
days.
queen jack, and he wanted to hold. Want nobody to know.
It's like my
Making it sound like a queen jack is a good hand.
if you're just getting introduced to Tiger Woods in like the last 2 years, if you're for some reason you just became conscious in the last 2 years, the two things that you would get from Tiger Woods is the big dog meme.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. Also kind of checked out-ish Tiger Woods, and then this poker meme.
Yeah, this was interesting. This is not Tiger winning the Masters and fist pumping and
No, that's not.
Big
little
dog.
different. He's still the
By the
biggest
way,
name in golf.
at-
Hasn't been competitive in quite some time, but he's everything in that universe.
At that point, just shave it off, brother.
Yeah.
Shave off the head. We're good. Everybody knows. You're in good shape.
All right. Speaking of this, and Al, I'm gonna send you something really quick. So Al's on his secret compound today. So, but you need to see this so you know what we're talking about. Somebody sent me, my pal Jay Stu sent me this.
What up?
And it's a picture of me, Al. And I'll post this online too, so everybody can see it. It's a picture of me shortly after I started here at 710.
Okay.
Which is about nine
here?
years and 3 months or so ago. Okay, I sent it to y'all. You should have it here in a second.
2015.
It's 2015.
So is that the same time as like clipped roughly?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
really,
I think
really
Put
Bomber-
close.
yourself in that.
I think Bomber bought the team in 2015.
Yeah, it was the clip, the whole clipped the Donald Sterling incident, the tape, and V. Civiano with her welder's mask and walking around doing crazy stuff. That was 2014, and I was at a different station at that point. But I've been here going on 10 years. This is the beginning of my 10th year.
I'm looking at you right now.
Look, Something come to mind when you look at that picture, perhaps?
Can you say it in our ways again, please?
Oh, yeah. My bad. So, Slee, tell me your first reaction when you see that picture.
Well, first off, I have no idea what you're doing as far as your facial expression. That's the first thing of you look shocked about something.
Yep.
No facial hair. Obviously, you're clean shaven right there.
Yep.
Got some pretty good hair still on the on
okay,
the
now
top.
we're getting warmer.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Got some pretty good hair still on the top there.
You're also flabbergasted in this photo.
No,
like
I'm
you're
surprised.
dumbstruck.
Again, it's a screen grab, so it could have been mid-expressions. But yes, I look perplexed, shall we say.
Yeah, still the same headphones. We know that because you had those for a while.
I've had them for a while, yeah. One ear, as always.
Okay, less gray. Definitely
okay,
less gray.
now you've hit the two most important
Kind
things.
of.
Okay, no glasses.
Yeah, no glasses, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Well, and you say like kind of no
about
gray. Zoom in on the picture. There's not a lot of gray in that. There's some, but it's
There's
not.
some by the exposed ear.
Yeah, a little, but nothing like we're dealing with now.
And it's the beginnings of the thinning on top.
Yes.
So this is about, 80 years ago?
Do you know what this looks like?
See, I knew I shouldn't have sent it to her.
I think I know what happened. I think you got a text, and I think Susan said, "Hey, just a heads up. I have a feeling Michael might want to go to Oregon." And that's the look on your face.
Yeah, this is very memeable.
Look, I look at myself every day in the mirror, right? When I brush my teeth, when I comb my hair, when I shave or whatever it is. I see
When you do your affirmations.
when I do my daily affirmations, of course,
Yep.
no doubt about it. I saw this picture, and then I look at what the hell happened to me? Like I've turned into an old man in the span of a day. Like I aged 10 years because I looked at an old picture. Like there's pictures around the house that I see of myself that are from a long time ago, and I feel like I'm relatively like that. This one hit me like a ton.
Okay,
I'm not bald. I'm beginning to bald. I don't have a ton of gray hair. I don't have glasses. I don't have a gray beard. I don't look like somebody hit me in the face and my eyes are swollen shut.
You could correct this. You could correct this in 30 minutes. You get some contacts on. You throw on a hat and you shave.
I'm not, no. Well,
and that's it.
You know, the shave is an interesting idea. Because I'm a little leaner than I was a few months ago, I could potentially shave and look a little young. I may try that.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why?
It does not look better.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Why not?
If he shaves, it doesn't look better?
It does not look better.
Why?
You look different.
Because we've seen it. Because you've shaved it.
You do look different.
Yeah, you look different. Because when
Jeez, Em.
remember when Kelly... You tried to shave your mustache?
Well, sometimes you'll clip it and you'll mess it up and you have to start over.
Yeah. I think that this version of Travis Rogers is more appropriate for the age that you are than this version of Travis Rogers. I think
I'm gonna
that
go
the
to the
shaved
store.
beard is off-putting.
I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy a bunch of hair dye. I'm going to get my teeth capped.
100%.
I'm going to.
You'll do what Donald
Get,
Sterling did in the episode 2 of
Start
Clint.
wearing, who's the, what's the brand? Like Ed Hardy? What was the
there
bedazzled
you
stuff?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
start getting
Ed
those
Hardy.
on.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Get some
Travis.
Botox. Okay, what we
Dealing
can
with
really
Get
do...
one of
we know
Chris's
it.
shirts where you only
got me
button
looking.
from you button from the belly button. Stop buttoning from the belly button. Just leave
Existential.
it all open.
So here's what you need to do. You need to up your skincare. You need to get some Korean sunscreen because it's the better
They have
version
better
of sunscreen. It is
sunscreen
better
than we
version-
do? Okay.
I
sunscreen.
disagree.
You can
I
get
disagree.
Botox put into your forehead because I see a line there.
Not doing that. Keep
okay,
going.
you can get good Botox. It's LA. You can get good
Told you
Great
about the
Botox.
dermatologist I went to see. It looked like he came in and looked like he'd given himself a facelift in the lobby.
You don't have to do everything. You can do a little bit.
It was the
Right
most
now they have a
terrifying
sale.
thing.
Right now they have a sale on Botox. You should take
And then
advantage.
you
There's
can
coupons
microneedle your
online.
eyes because you
Not
got little
doing
blood
any-
on your eyes.
I need something I can do in 30 seconds by myself.
Oh, you put the cucumbers on your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
and, go from there.
Cucumbers on the eyes. Yeah, look, I need a whole
You're
regimen.
gonna
I
kill
need
it,
a whole
bro.
regimen.
You're gonna kill it.
honey on the face.
I did post
it's a
it on
long day.
Twitter,
All
and
right.
I
Get on
said,
one of those
caption this,
dating
wrong
sites.
answers only.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Don't forget, tickets are on sale right now for Mandy's 3 at the Commerce Casino. It is coming up really soon, Saturday, June 22nd, the biggest party we throw all year long here at 710. We'll find out which show will take home the Champagne and Nuts trophy for Show of the Year. Slee, you weren't here yesterday. We came up with a slogan for the Trav and Slee show.
Okay, what is it?
We don't hate you.
We don't hate you.
because we take calls.
That's right.
We interact
don't
with
hate
you
you.
on Twitter. We have AskSlee. You're part of one
We
of our
love everybody.
segments.
And we're
We
here.
love you all.
And we're here. Yeah, in the words of Mike Funches, we are here along the
I
way.
got an idea for everybody, Chrissy, Crypto Ray,
Yeah.
everybody from that, from our community. I want you guys to post a picture from 10 years ago, just like Travis did.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Post your picture from 10 years ago. We want to see how different you guys
Oh,
are.
I'll post mine.
Yeah.
Kurt Sandoval might have been onto something. That's all I'm saying. He may have
He
jumped
saw
the
it.
gun on that.
He saw it.
So vote for our show when you go to buy your tickets. Make sure that you do all that. Plus, of course, we're going to have great giveaways and entertainment at Mandy's 3. Watch the bits come alive. Get your tickets right now at espnla.com and click the Mandy's 3 logo, and we will see you at the Mandy's Award. JJ Redick, getting closer. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So, Slee, when you are posted up nursing yourself back to health, you need to throw on Hulu and check out the first couple episodes of Clipped.
Yep.
I went on Monday night to the premiere, and you caught the first 2 episodes on Hulu last night?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think you're going to love it. I really do. If you liked Winning Time, I think you'll like this. It's obviously a different story to tell.
It's
but
losing time.
It's losing time for sure. And the performances with I think a couple of very nitpicky kind of exceptions, are terrific. In particular, Lawrence Fishburne as Doc and
Cleopatra Coleman.
She's terrific. She's terrific. And I
Yeah.
think Kelly O'Coin as Andy Roser is terrific too.
So who's that character again? Like, can you explain to me?
He's the team president. He's that kind
Is he
of
the fixer? The guy that kind of goes around and is
Yes.
like really stressed out?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's Kelly O'Coin. He was in The American. He's been in a million things, but I think he's terrific in it too. And Ed O'Neill is great. Do you agree with what I said yesterday, Em, about Ed O'Neill is such a famous
Yeah.
actor, Al, that when you watch him, for me, and so is Lawrence Fishburne, to be sure, but I don't know, with Lawrence Fishburne, you just kind of immediately accept him as the character he's playing. Ed O'Neill is Ed O'Neill the entire time. He does a great job as Sterling, but I'm just seeing Al Bundy. I'm seeing Jay from Modern Family. He does a great performance, and he makes Sterling as weird and as creepy as he probably was, but I'm seeing Ed O'Neill the whole
It's like
time.
evil Jay from Modern Family because it's like a older man, younger woman thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, Gloria isn't like a super younger woman.
Yeah.
She's very much an adult woman.
Sure.
Cleopatra Coleman and V is a younger
Young.
woman than that. But it does feel like a little bit of the evil version of that. But he's such a good actor that you still see Donald Sterling, but you see little flecks of Ed O'Neill.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there on Monday as well, so obviously I wasn't able to go. But I'm excited to get caught up. I'll get caught up today. I'll make sure that I do that. Obviously, support Ramona as well. So
A surprise cameo from someone that's there twice, and I'm just like, what did that actually happen? Were they actually friends? I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet, but I was like, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, well, I think you could say who it is, right?
Okay, LeVar Burton's there twice, and I don't know why he's there
as
twice.
LeVar Burton. He's not playing a character.
They
He's
talk about how he
playing
lies
himself.
with his beard so well as microneedling. No, microblading.
It was, well, because depending on your age, you've encountered LeVar Burton as, the actor from Roots. You encountered him from The Reading Rainbow. It's just there's a million different versions of LeVar Burton that you've run into, and then he's just playing himself, and he's in a sauna with Doc Rivers. You're like, okay, I wasn't ready for this. This is a little unexpected, but I'm excited for you to see it, Al, so we can talk about it because it's really, really
Before
good.
we move on,
Lakers head coach is in it too, JJ Redick.
He is. He actually is very prominent in the first two episodes.
Were
too.
we right? By the way, that's and JJ Redick is a handsome in real life. He's a handsome person. TV movie JJ Redick, the guy, whoever that actor is that's playing
He's a
Redick.
model.
He's like the most handsome man in the world.
it's pretty good to have a model play you.
Not bad. Was I right about that?
Yeah, no, you're right. He is too attracted to play JJ. I think that you could have had I think it needed to be a little gruffier. I know that he doesn't have a beard at this point in time in his playing career, but it needs to be a little more rough around the edges than super pretty boy. He was super pretty boy in this, and also their call and response in the bus after the second episode is pretty funny with his role. But anyway, I put out a photo of Travis, the photo of Travis from 9 years ago that your friend sent to you.
Jay Stu, bad guy.
Yeah, it was friend in quotation marks. And I put out there, caption this, wrong answers only. So I'm going to read you some of the captions that we've seen so far.
Okay.
So this is from Froy. He says, the face you make when they don't have sushi at Albertsons.
100%.
Had 2 rolls yesterday. I treated myself sleep.
That's our definition of a P1. Somebody that knows that you care that much about the sushi at Albertsons.
I went yesterday, and
we believe you.
They had the spicy tuna, which sometimes they have, sometimes they don't. It's my favorite one, and they had 2 of them. I'm like, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to double Albertsons sushi myself yesterday, so I did. It was wonderful.
We got Daniel Tapia who says,
I got a double of spicy tuna rolls. He's stacking tuna rolls on top of each other.
It was like I had never eaten in my life. I don't think you could have actually seen my hands moving. It was just a blur. It looked like the Tasmanian devil stuffing sushi rolls into its face. It was awful.
Daniel Tapia says, you put ketchup on tacos?
Marcellus, bad guy.
Yeah, bad guy for sure. And then also this is...
Still never understood that angle.
So weird.
There's a couple that are of the same vein of trusting farts. And then he goes too far. A la an anniversary today that we'll talk about later.
We'll talk about that.
I got this
a
one.
little
This
bit.
is pretty funny. Namor says, "Ay, las tortillas."
Good. Look, I'm glad they're just making fun of my face and not the fact that I've aged 140 years in the last 10. So back to clip very quickly, Slee. JJ Redick plays a very prominent role in the series, obviously, and certainly in the first episode or two. And JJ Redick, it seems almost certain at this point that he is going to be the next coach of the LA Lakers. He was on Gojo and Golic and was asked about his potential being the next coach of the team.
I would say this. My focus right now is on calling the NBA Finals. I am so fortunate that I'm in this position and I get to call these finals with Doris and Mike. And I mentioned the State Farm thing that I just did on YouTube. My day-to-day right now is consumed with calling games, the 19 different podcasts I feel like I have, my obligations to all of our partners. So my focus is on the NBA Finals. I will say that. In terms of Shams, that will be addressed once the season is over. So I'll just say that.
That was nothing. That was just one step shy of, yeah, I'm the coach. I just can't say it yet. Yeah. That was the only thing missing from that comment was, well, of course I'm going to be the coach of the Lakers, but we're just going to let this thing play out. And by the end of the month, it'll be official. That's the only thing missing.
I think a couple weeks ago, you and I were talking about the only surprise left in all this is if somebody else was named the coach or if there was another favorite that all of a sudden popped up and it's like, hey, you know what? No, JJ Redick is not. That's not going to be a lock. So, but to hear it actually coming from JJ Redick, I'm with you that everything that he said, that was a very political answer. I'm focused just on the NBA Finals. It almost sounded like I don't know. That's definitely a player's press conference / coach's press conference. And I get it, too. I think if those that are saying, why don't they just hire him as the coach? What the hell are they waiting for? He's going to finish the NBA Finals, and then he'll be announced probably at some point after that, the head coach. But nothing too surprising there, but interesting for it to come directly from him.
There's a couple of other things going on that I think it kind of takes you back to where they were and hopefully takes you to where they're moving forward over the next few seasons along the way. This was your friend Jovan Buha who was writing about this, and he mentioned a couple of things about Redick that in particular are in contrast to the way that Darvin Ham approached the job that I want to get into next, because I think it is a good source of optimism for the Lakers moving forward, and also a really big miss looking back. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Sedano and Cap for your afternoon drive. The fun way to drive home on 710.
You so badly want to be a 1995 shock jock still.
I do?
And I'm just tired of it.
Tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. We're going to go to Yachtly Crew, man. Tell you that right now.
Why do you have to put the business at risk?
Why am I putting the business at risk, man? Tell you what, man. We're going to do some Yachtly Crew, man.
You're an idiot.
You are an idiot.
The LA Afternoon Takeover.
person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
What are your symptoms, Al? Are you runny nose, post-nasal drip, cough, headache, night sweats? What do you got?
I feel like this is an ad for
Really sped up the symptoms.
Yeah.
right. Now at this point, I'm better. I still got a cough, and but when I was sick, just kind of your regular flu. I couldn't get out of bed. I just had no energy, nothing at all, literally. I would, if I got out of bed to go use the restroom, I came back. I'm like, did I just run a half marathon?
So you decided to unwind with watching the world burn?
Not all of them, but some
The
of them.
Price is Right in the background?
Yeah.
Is that what you're watching over there?
Like watch
No
watch,
Price is Right.
watch Plinko, Slee. Watch the mountain climber game.
Watch Seinfeld. Watch
Yeah.
The Office.
Oh, I got
Watch Always
Seinfeld
Sunny.
in. No, I got Seinfeld in. Seinfeld was a part of the mix. I told you I got full swing in the mix as well, and then I'd veer off a little bit. Sometimes I went from Kramer to some other things around the world
Yeah,
that are
there's
going on.
I guess
Kramer
Politically.
to Ukraine.
I guess in your defense, there is a lot going on. There's a
going
lot.
on.
There's a lot of things that you can get caught up on. You can get caught up on to find out whether or not Al is going to win Host of the Year back to back. Is Mace finally going to win the most coveted award at the Mandy's Host of the Year? You find out on Saturday, June 22nd at Commerce Casino. Vote for all the awards that we're going to hand out right now at ESPNLA.com. Click the voting page with the Normand Legal logo. Vote early, vote often, and a special thanks to the law offices of Joseph S. Normand, injury attorneys you can trust, 213-747-2000. You can go back to back, Slee. You could be like the Lakers.
You could be like Jorge.
You could be like, well, Jorge's just like, he's like the 27 Yankees. He's just ripping it off every year.
Should have done Pat Riley after last year. I should have just said, next year we're going to do it again. And then I look over and
Like, what are you talking about?
exactly.
So last segment I tweeted out a picture of Travis and I said caption this, wrong answers only, and it's a picture of Travis from 9 years ago when he first was here with 710. So here's some of the great captions. One from Porky. He says, when you open the garage and still see the boxes from high school reunion after they promised to be cleared out.
That's go on. I have something on that.
All right. So another one is the face when Cody was picking his 3-item plate.
Rice and beans.
Cody. I'm very fond of Cody. I think
Very
Cody's
talented,
I think he's
very
very
cool.
bright. He's very talented. He's a very hardworking guy. And then we went right back to square one with that horrible Chinese food combo that he had.
I have one more from Mailman Matt, and he says, when Mr. Belding found out Saved by the Bell was getting canceled.
That's messed up. So you're a Mad Men person, right, Em?
Yeah.
So you know when they go to do the Cool Whip thing in the lab?
I haven't rewatched it, so
Okay.
explain it again.
Mr. Belding is the scientist in this scene, and he looks like he's 900 years old. When
So
Al,
you right now.
You're a Saved by the Bell guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Belding is the principal of Bayside High. He's kind of a younger guy. He's the classic high school principal when you're 16 and he's probably 40, but you think he's 60, but he looked 40 at the time. He shows up in Mad Men a few years later, and he looks like he's 107, and that's what people think I look like.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Doesn't
that's
help
not
me.
a good affiliation. I told you what you need to do, and we already talked about it. You're going to start changing your clothes. You're going to start wearing shirts where you keep the buttons open. You're going to shave. You're going to put on a ton of cologne. We got you.
The cologne. I couldn't stand to be around myself at that point. The rest of it. So check this out. Emily, what did you, a week ago or so, you asked me if I had an old DVD player, right?
Mm-hmm. Because Pepe had given me some DVDs. I thought I could play them. The thing that I have can't play them. So anyway, I needed a DVD player to see them.
So she says to me, do you have an old
Jorge's
DVD player?
got like 7
I
different
got a
ones.
VCR. I got a DVD player. And
Yeah,
a
he's
combo
got everything.
TV that
Yep.
you put it, yeah.
Yep.
So I said, I do. I need to find it. And so I kind of slipped my mind. I forgot. So she does the right thing, and she texts me last night. She says, hey, if you can, take a look for that VCR and see if you can bring it in. So this morning when Emily came in, a VCR circa 2002 or whatever.
Yeah, a VCR or a CD
DVD.
player of the or DVD player of the time.
Yeah, and so where it was in my garage, Al, was basically the most inaccessible corner of the entire thing. There was a punching bag. There was shop vacs. There was giant buckets full of tennis balls.
How big is your garage?
Enough to hold all of this stuff.
6-car garage, and it also has room for a motorhome.
There was an end table. There were several lamps, a box fan, and the boxes of all of the high school reunion stuff that we've had in my garage for 20 years that Susan refuses to throw away. I nearly killed myself trying to get you that DVD player. So I just need you to understand that I'm in there. Susan comes out. She goes, "What are you doing in here?" And it took all of my adult patience and 27 years of marriage to not explode at trying not to kill myself because you won't throw away 9 boxes of sombreros. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's what it was all going back to.
It was because I may have dropped something on my foot that hurt a little bit. I may have kicked the box fan that I didn't see behind the other box of sombreros and everything else. But it was a very tense moment in the Rogers household.
You didn't have to do it.
I first of all, once I started to get there,
yeah,
I had to stop because I'd already blown up the garage even worse than it was. I needed to finish the job.
I think what he's trying to say is, it's not your fault, Em, but it did raise some more questions about what Susan's got in the garage. And if Susan is listening, I want her to know I'm in full support of whatever she has in the garage, and I'll leave it there.
What it helped was there's one less piece of stuff in my garage that you can keep that. Maybe at someday when I get further into that corner, I'll just, because I know there's a remote for it. I couldn't find it in the. I was doing it on one leg. Just be happy.
I don't need to go to the deleted scenes or anything. I'm just going to go straight to play.
Okay. You're going to have to actually go old school and get up and push the buttons on the front.
Okay.
All right. Good luck. Good luck. JJ Redick, according to Jovan Buha, checks many of the boxes on the Lakers' extensive checklist for their next coach. I want to do this part first. It says the franchise views Redick as the candidate who can maximize the short-term championship window with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but also drive the long-term culture and sustainability of the Lakers into their next era. I am so pleased to have read that final sentence. I am so happy that somebody, whether it's a reporter who was given this piece of information from somebody inside the Lakers or who was looking at this as an expert and saying, this not only works in the short term for LeBron, let's go to try to do the best we can for him in the remaining years that he has left, but also this is somebody that can lead this team into whatever the next era of Laker basketball is, culture and sustainability. It was such a pleasant surprise to read about what comes next as opposed to what's coming now.
I don't want to give too much credit to that statement there because I think you have no choice but to say that. I mean,
they hadn't said it in any of the other. When they hired Darvin Ham, they didn't say it. When they hired Frank Vogel, they didn't say it.
LeBron's about to be 40, so you can't be hiring a coach thinking that this is going to be.
What, when he's 38, they were thinking that this was a 5-year plan? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, LeBron didn't get old yesterday. He's been an older player for now.
He didn't get old yesterday. But I just don't want to give too much credit to that because I do feel like there's no conversation to be had where – I mean, I guess there is a scenario where you could say we're just bringing in JJ Redick because his relationship with LeBron, because we feel like he can help us right now. Now, there's no history towards that. I don't have a resume of JJ Redick as a coach where I could sit here and tell you, damn, that's a great hire.
I mean, he coached youth basketball. Come on, look at that team, how he did.
Well,
they win the title.
I also can't say that he's going to be an awful coach because I genuinely don't know. Like, I literally have no idea.
I think that's secondary. I think what makes me excited about this, that whether he'll be good or not, time will tell. Nobody's got a crystal ball. But the fact that it maybe crossed someone's mind that this may be good 3-4 years from now is exciting to me because it feels like every decision they have made has been made with is this good for today? Who cares about tomorrow? That finally tomorrow was at least part of the process gives me hope.
Yeah, I'll still – and I get the words and I get the thought process of it. I'll still have hesitation, and part of that hesitation is when we say they've had 6 different coaches over the course of the last 13 years, I don't want to – until I see a situation where we're sitting here 3 years from now, JJ Redick is still the coach, you feel like he's the right coach, and LeBron James has moved on from the NBA, then I could sit there and feel more comfortable and be like, yeah, you know what? This vision was there. It was the right plan. I see the words. I completely get. I think it's the right thing to say, but I'm going to continue to have some hesitation just because I don't know what the plan's going to be once LeBron is done, and I think I think everything else is off the table once LeBron's gone.
All right, Al, you had to put money on this, a significant amount of money that you have, on whether or not JJ Redick will be a good or a bad coach. If he'll be here in 2 years, what are you going to say?
Be here in 2 years, yes.
As the coach of the Lakers.
I think to make it more difficult, I think you said, will he be the head coach of the Lakers in 3 years? Because 2 years is kind of the average for all these NBA coaches have been with the Lakers. 3 years is kind of the that's not the norm. I think Trav, you said this. It was Vogel and Luke, I want to say, were the two coaches here for 3 years.
Okay, set it at 3 years. Is he going to be here
I'll
for
say he's the coach of the Lakers in 3 years.
What about 4 years?
I don't think they have any choice at this point, and I know that they can do whatever they want, but to go to your point about 4M or 3, LeBron James in the NBA 3 years from now, even by this ridiculous standard that he has set, seems a bridge too far, right? That he's not going to be playing in the NBA at 43 years old. Who knows? But that just seems like it's exceptionally unlikely. They will have had to have moved into the next era of Laker basketball, whatever that era is at that point. I don't think you rip another coach out and drop another one in to do that. I really do think because of LeBron's age, because they've gone through them as often as they have over the last decade plus, that he has more runway than anybody that's come before him in the last 2 or 3 coaches.
But do you think he's going to be they're going to be magically patient? Like if they miss the playoffs?
I think what happens is the patience gets automatically bought in because LeBron is going to be out. Right? They just we actually don't have to mash the gas for the first time in forever. We can give it another year or another year. And especially, look, the Lakers are never going to be bad with LeBron James, right? So they'll be okay. He's going to finally decide to retire, go play with his son, go to another, whatever it is. I think ultimately he ends his career in a Laker uniform. That's a separate topic. But I think what happens is when Anthony Davis becomes the guy that's here, assuming that he has even a moderately workable relationship with AD, will get the chance to usher in that new era of Laker basketball, and it seems like that's going to be Redick.
I think what's going to be as important is you got to show signs. Because I will tell you, if JJ Redick has a similar, let's just use Darvin Ham as an example, if you got playoff games where you got one of your top players saying there's stretches where we don't know what we're doing on both sides of the floor, you can't have moments like that.
But I also feel like there's not a world where that happens. from knowing JJ, knowing what he talks about, knowing what everyone else talks about him, I don't think he's not going to be prepared.
I
don't think prepared is the question. It's just experience, right? Like you could look at other coaches that walked into the league. And again, I have no reason to think that JJ Redick will not have success, but I also don't have a long resume. I think the Lakers should take their chances on this, and we'll see what happens. It's not like there's an established coach that they could go get that they feel like, oh my gosh, this coach is on the market. He's not going to be on the market for the next 10 years. I don't think there's a resume like that for anybody. So I think it's worth the risk. I just also know that job, that Lakers position, there are going to be times where you're going to go through losing streaks, or you're going to if players are questioning the coach or the coaching staff, let's hope none of that stuff happens.
So going back to what you're talking about, preparation, and I get experience. He doesn't have it. You can't fake it. You got it. You either have been through it or you haven't, right? You can't fake experience. What you can be is prepared. And some of the reports about Darvin, and again, I'll go back to this, there are no doubts about Redick's work ethic, particularly in comparison to Ham's. One of the common internal complaints with Ham was his lack of preparation. Conversely, Redick is obsessively structured and organized, from dogmatically attempting 342 game speed shots every day during the offseason, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Is there a more damning criticism of anybody than, hey, you weren't ready to come to work today, and you're dealing with the most intense professionals? Anybody think that LeBron James wasn't prepared to come to work and you have a coach that wasn't prepared to come to work every day? How the hell was that guy let in the building if that's the work ethic? How was that not vetted out? We can get into that coming up at 11 o'clock. AskSlee coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Who went to go to Mandy's 3 at Commerce Casino?
Like we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:45. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
877-710-ESPN. That's the phone number if you would like to do an Ask Slee on the phone like this man who is batting leadoff right now. Francis in Glendale. What's up, party people?
Good morning, party
Hey,
people.
party people.
What do you got?
Good morning. I have a couple quick hashtag Ask Slees. First, have you ever been so wasted that you tried drunk dialing someone on a calculator app? Also, last Friday when you asked Legends Attic if they had any Sedale 3 memorabilia, how hard did they laugh at you?
Let's take the last one first.
Sure.
Thank you so much for calling, Francis. They had, Trav, how big was this section for Sedale? What was that?
About half the store, I'd say.
Right? Yeah, because to the right side was all Dodger stuff. To the left side was all Sedale, and then there was a small little corner that had Shaq. And,
It's
Kobe
disrespectful
and
that there was more Kobe memorabilia than Sedale 3.
Okay, so that one first. The other one about drunk dialing using a calculator. I've not done that before. I've not done. I've definitely done where I remember back in the day, I would call the wrong number on accident and just be like, what the hell am I doing right now? Why don't we just put the phone away? Let's call it a day here. You text the wrong person. That's definitely happened before, but not in recent memory.
So what I've done more often than not is I would think I'm setting up my alarm for the next morning, but it's the calculator. Because for some reason in my mind, the icons look very similar and they're kind of close to each other. So I would type in
Were you trying to add up 6:30 in the morning?
I'll type in 6:30.
5 more
and
minutes.
Then,
plus five.
And then I don't have an alarm clock.
So, okay.
She sends an email to her alarm.
Yeah, exactly.
So take me through this. And this is just my life. Susan and I have been together since we were in high school. So I don't have a lot of experience. I'm sure I called her on occasion when I've been out. But this isn't like the random shot in the dark or the X or anything like this. Is that's just a rite of passage, right? Where, hey, I'm out, it's late, I'm just going to shoot my shot and see what happens. That's not abnormal.
Yeah, it happens more often than,
Have you done it?
Yeah, I've done it. People done
What's
it to
the
me.
success rate?
Depending on it's
on
relatively
who you are.
high.
Yeah. Some of those could be Chris Taylor's batting average.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing's
Some
that
of
bad.
some of those can be Mookie.
It depends.
It just depends.
It depends on your level. It depends on their level. I think I find it honestly a compliment if I get a drunk text from somebody. It doesn't have to be like a "you up" text or whatever. But if it's someone's trying to think about me and they text me while they're drunk, I find it as a compliment. And typically, my drunk texts to my friends are just telling them how much I love them as people.
I've done that. I've done those where usually it's on Thanksgiving when I'm in a certain mood.
Yep.
And I want to get away from all the people in my house for a few minutes, and I'll go sit in the backyard and just say, hey, I got a few texts that I need to send. That's typically what happens.
Yeah, no, but
But the you up, what's the success rate on that? 1 out of 10? 1 out of 5?
depending on the day of the week, higher. Depending on the time of day, higher.
If it's Friday, it's higher.
Slee, you ever fired out a you up?
No you ups in my recent life.
I don't know. I'm gonna have Susan go stay in a hotel, and I can just text her, "You up?" and see what happens.
You can. You can do like Modern Family, where they wear the different name tags on Valentine's Day.
Clive and I forget the other, not Victoria, something like that. It'll come back to me. All right, let's go to Darren Pollock, who writes, when Ramona makes her movie about Frank McCourt selling the Dodgers, quote, dodging a McBullet, who should play Frank McCourt?
Who should play Frank McCourt? All right, do you guys have anybody in mind?
So what I did, because I saw this tweet ahead of time, and I was like, oh, maybe this will be a good one. I think
I got a random one.
John Lithgow could be good. Maybe he's a little older, depending on the time.
That's not bad. He's a little too tall. Like Frank
Yeah.
McCourt was not a tall person.
Yeah.
How would this could be awful? Woody Harrelson. How do you think that would work? Kind of look wise.
Is he
That's
like
really interesting.
Is
That's
Frank
not
McCourt
awful.
funny?
No.
Because I can't take. So I feel like Woody Harrelson.
Unless you think this is funny, taking one of the crown jewels of Los Angeles sports and driving it into the ground to the point where people stopped going to Dodger games. The Dodgers drew 3 million people a year every year until that guy got his claws into it. That's funny.
Woody might have. I think Woody might.
I think Woody Harrelson to me only screams like funny or like my dad, because he kind of looks like my dad, and so. But I think not bad.
This
Michael
is
Keaton.
Ooh,
That's a really good call.
Yep, Michael Keaton. He looks like the guy from The Founder, just like
That's a really good call. Michael Keaton, who also is a great actor, would be able to pull
but
that
can also
off.
be smarmy.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton's got some. Michael Keaton can be funny, not that Frank McCourt is, but I think this is the big challenge out when it comes to doing a show like Winning Time, like Clipped, like anything that is something, and again, we're just talking about our universe and the sports universe, but when you're playing people that we know intimately, I know exactly what Doc Rivers looks like. I know exactly what Blake Griffin looks like, and Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jerry Buss, right? It has to at least be close enough to pull it off. Otherwise, it's like, that's not anything like Magic Johnson looked like. And that guy looked, Quincy Isaiah, I think his name was. That guy looked exactly like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it. We've talked about it, and I know in sports, too. It's like, this is different. It's an executive this, but it's, all right, can the dude dribble a basketball?
Yeah.
Are there parts of what we know that individual for? Can he throw a no-look pass? Can he have a hook shot? Like, that stuff, I know. I'm not telling you that it's got to be perfect, but it does have an impact.
You can edit around that a little bit. You know my preoccupation with guys that can't play basic catch or swing a golf club. Because you can't edit around the swing, but the lob and all the, I can get creative editing, but when it's a tight shot on Lawrence Fishburne's face, it has to at least be a passing resemblance to Doc Rivers. And in Clipped, they nail almost all of those.
I got one from John Ferris, and shout out to you, John. Hope to see you at the Mandy's 3. Really excited to see you. I still have your AskSlee mug that you gave us. It's still in my room, so it's on display. But he asked, in Hong Kong, they eat lizard soup to cure cold. Would you rather eat lizard soup or just stay sick?
Yeah, I'll probably stay sick. Yeah, I'm gonna probably stay sick. There's certain things, and I'm open to trying things. Lizard soup not on my list. I'm gonna go ahead and take my chances with let's fight this thing for a couple of days, and I'll be fine after a couple of days.
It's funny. Like, I know that, different cultures, different parts of the world all eat different things, right? They do it. What looks crazy to us is just very normal to someone else, and vice versa, right? That just some things that we do here, like, no, we'd never in a million years eat some. I get all of that. I'm okay. I'd eat the lizard soup. Just don't tell me it's lizard soup before I eat it. Right? Like, hey, you don't feel well?
That's
No,
how you
man.
walked into the restaurant. There's a photo of the lizard.
Godzilla outside of the restaurant.
Yeah. But if you ate it and you're like, yeah, okay, that wasn't bad. And then they said afterwards, hey, just so you know,
helpful.
that was lizard soup. You'd be like, oh, okay. And then maybe you don't order it again, but I wouldn't be retroactively repulsed by it if I got through it. If I took a bite of it and went like, wait, what is this? This is terrible. Then don't tell me. Just tell me it's chicken that I don't like.
It tastes like chicken.
That's the go-to, right? Everything tastes like chicken. Was Darvin Ham unprepared? That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Slee, PrizePicks is doing it again. They are doing it all over again. They are giving us a freebie heading into the NBA Finals. You know what PrizePicks is. You pick between 2 and 6 players, and you decide whether you like more or less on their stat projections. Do you like more or less than a half a point for Jason Tatum? I think there's a pretty good chance that Jason Tatum will get a basket in the opening game of the NBA Finals. PrizePicks is giving you the proverbial layup to get off to a great start, but you got to put the app on your phone.
All right, so I already got mine. So I'm making my picks right now in the NBA Finals. Obviously starts tomorrow. How about this? Okay, take the Tatum pick. It's a half a point. Obviously, that's free money right there. And then just got to decide, all right, let's use Luka as an example. More or less than 31.5 points. I know all Laker fans are rooting for the Mavs to win because we don't want to see Boston get their 18th championship. Well, now you can watch the game and actually have some stakes on the game at the same time. Tatum, Luka, you could look at Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. Go look at all the MLB games going on. Just make sure you download the app today. Use that code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code 710 on PrizePicks for a deposit match of up to $100.
On 710 ESPN.
Trav, we get anything official?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We haven't talked since then, have we? Cal Poly. Official. Michael is officially a Mustang. Mustang, yes. I knew it's a horse. Sometimes I want to say stallions or broncos or it's Mustangs. Horse. Yeah. Saw Pepe at the premiere.
Oh, that's right.
So I felt a little bad for Pepe because he was sitting in his seat inside the theater when Susan and I walked in. And I see him, and I walk up to him to say hello, but I'm backlit by the screen, okay? He can't see who it is. And so I say, oh, hey, Pepe, how you doing?
He says, hi, Mr. Belding.
And you could tell for a good 10 seconds, he didn't recognize who it was. And then he goes, oh, and then finally goes, oh, I recognize your voice. And we had a very nice chat. But it's that terrible feeling.
You said Travis from the Travis and Sliwa show.
I said, hey, Pepe, how you doing? And he goes, good. And then I said, hey, do you come to the line? He's like, oh. And then you could tell. It's just that moment of terror where you're like,
yeah.
I don't know who this person is, and they clearly know me. I had a little moment of sympathy with Pepe.
Okay, so we got Cal Poly. That's it. It's done. It's official. He feels good about it. The whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. So this is how it went. I was telling John and Steve this yesterday during Supercross Talk that the deadline was a couple of days ago that he had to make his choice, and I was off Monday, and I told him, I said, hey. Today's kind of the day. Have you made up your mind on what you want to do? Yeah. Would you like to tell me and your mom what maybe, you might Cal Poly. Okay, great. That sounds awesome, Mike. Congratulations. That's such a great accomplishment. You worked really pumping him up. Yeah, that's cool. So that's what we got.
What was going on?
He's slow plays it.
He is a teen.
Yeah, he's 18 and he
slow plays it. But was there some hesitation? What was he?
I think he really wanted to go to Oregon for the football and the basketball and all of the sports that comes along with a big time school like that. I think everything else tilted the other way, and the economics certainly played a role.
He's going to love it.
It was
He's
great.
Gonna love it.
It was. You know what? I think I just put two and two together. Sometimes the pieces all click together. Yeah. Ask me what I did shortly after he told me that. I didn't even realize that one led to the next.
You did a dance.
No, not exactly, but you're not as far off as you might think.
You had a sleeve of Oreos.
No, the opposite, in fact. I did a 12-mile hike, Sliwa. 12 miles on Monday.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. How about that? I was feeling pretty. I had a little bounce in my step. I'm not going to lie.
Did you hike to Petco?
I hiked to Top of the World in Laguna Beach.
6 there, 6 back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just about. It
brother.
was. My legs feel like they've been beaten with baseball bats today.
That's impressive.
But, it was good. It was a really good one.
How's the feet?
My feet are better, but Susan saw the bottom of them last night.
Yeah.
She insists that we're doing a pedicure tomorrow.
Yeah. Take your shoes off. Let's see.
You want to see
your
them?
Socks off.
No, thank you.
12 miles, Al. I'm very pleased with that.
Bro, that's
25,000 steps ish.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
I took over the span of the last 4 days 12 steps. 12 steps total.
I didn't even put it, but it was just hey man, I just saved a lot of money. I'm going to go walk this off in celebration.
You know what was our test of you're not feeling well? What's our test that we usually talk about?
Eating,
drinking.
Even before, Trav, go a little. It's going to be an easy one. What happens in the morning? And if you don't want that thing in the morning, we got an issue.
Coffee.
Oh. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, you probably.
Yeah.
For a second there.
Okay.
Yeah, for a second there.
Now I'm on the trolley. I
didn't like my setup because I'm like, I'm taking this guy down a different path.
This is a new dynamic for Al. This is interesting.
I'm taking this guy down a different path. Yeah, that was my. Had like a sip of coffee. I'm like, I can't have it. I can't.
Really?
That was my indication. This was on. I started feeling sick on Friday night, but Saturday and Sunday, I'm like, I don't want a cup of coffee. How do you not want a cup of coffee? You don't feel good.
Yeah, that's
the indication. That's the indicator.
It's a pretty good one.
If the doctor ever asks, why do you think you're sick? I'm like, well, I didn't want coffee.
Tickets are on sale right now for Mandy's 3 at the Commerce Casino coming up just around the corner, Saturday, June 22nd. The biggest party that we throw all year long here at 710. You'll find out which show will take home the Champagne and Nuts Trophy for the Show of the Year. Vote Travis and Slee. Plus, Great giveaways and entertainment. You can watch the bits come to life. Get your tickets right now, ESPNLA.com, and click on the Mandy's 3 logo, and we will see you at the Mandy Awards.
After party, by the way, for those who don't know, it's at Mason's. So I'll tweet out his home address a little bit later today. After party at Mason's. Everyone's invited.
So on Lit yesterday, Slee, Chris said that basically the venue that we're going to be at the same place but in a different part of the Commerce Casino, that basically they're just going to flip on the lights and that's where the after party is going to take place, kind of right there. There's going to be plenty of opportunities
Maybe
to
keep
get
the
food
lights
and
down.
drink. Well, mid. We need a dimmer switch. We can kind of go back and forth. Live entertainment.
Yep,
Jorge,
you could do that.
Tell me again the name of the band that's going to play.
Tierra.
From
East LA, yes.
Yeah.
Live you could do
music?
that 100%. You could stay there as long as you want. Just know that after, when all that's done, as long as you want at Mason's house after, immediately after.
All right, going back and talking about JJ Redick, which seems inevitable that he's going to. And by the way, it's felt like that for a few weeks. And it
felt
just,
like that for 6 months.
Yeah, it kind of has.
Yeah.
We're getting closer and closer. He was on a podcast where he did not deny that it was, in the universe. And the stories are starting to come out a little bit about why one of the reasons that they like him is that he is incredibly structured and organized. That apparently is the opposite of what they just experienced with Darvin Ham. Again, from Buha's piece, it says there are no doubts about Redick's work ethic, particularly in comparison to Ham's. One of the common internal complaints with Ham was his lack of preparation. Conversely, Redick is obsessively structured and organized, and they lay out some examples about that. I can't look. Sometimes you hire the wrong guy. I get that, and nobody's going to bat 1,000, but I cannot imagine a criticism, and maybe it's just a Travis thing for me, where if somebody said, that guy doesn't show up to work prepared every day. Like, you can say, I don't like him. You can say he's a bad guy. You can say he's wrong. He's dumb. He's this. But this showing up for work every day unprepared. Imagine trying to convince LeBron James that you want to do X, Y, or Z. And he's looking at you going, bro, I know you didn't even do the work. Like, what a disaster. And if the overcorrection on that is somebody who's prepared, to a point of maybe even over preparation, if there is such a thing, Redick is looking more and more attractive if the last guy was as unprepared as it sounds like he may have been.
I don't know, man. Could this just be let's throw a little bit more on Darvin Ham? Let's make our next candidate look even greater, because we don't the reason why I say it is, and I'm not telling you, I by no means am I saying Darvin Ham was a great coach. I think we knew what his flaws were. We knew that, through 2 years, which I hate to say this because I don't think you really have a coaching job for 2 years and say, hey, that's a good coach, that's a bad coach. But I think nobody was really arguing that the Lakers should move on from Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
But I could also look at it the other way and say, all right, well, you guys hired the guy.
I don't think it's the other way. I think it's the way. You know what I mean? When I hear this, and look, it does not reflect well on Darvin. Right, it does not reflect well on Darvin that the scuttlebutt coming out of his dismissal is, dude wasn't putting in the work. That especially for a first time coach, that cannot be the reputation. Now, and to your point, maybe this is just kind of trying to. Yeah,
I want to hear that. I would want to hear that 5 other times from 5 other sources before I say the dude wasn't putting work.
Fair enough, but let's just, for the sake of the conversation, assume that this is true. That's an easy thing to find out if you are vetting a potential candidate. Talk to the people, and maybe as an assistant he was. Maybe he leaned on his. I don't know, but that seems to me an easy box to check. Is, hey, is this guy going to grind it out? Because I'll tell you a quick story, and I don't know this person well, but I've spent enough time with this person in social situations to tell this story, and I don't think that it would. Eric Musselman, right, who is a current college basketball coach and was a 2-time head coach in the NBA, Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings. And he had come from a background of basketball. His dad was an NBA coach. His dad was a longtime basketball person in and around every league that there is. So Eric Musselman grew up in basketball. And he got his first job as a head coach in the league he wasn't a player in the NBA, right? He just kind of said, and I remember asking him, how in the world do you go into a locker room with NBA players and convince them that your ideas are the right ones, that they're going to work, and that you can get buy-in from them. And what he told me, he goes, you have to be right. He goes, they're going to do it at the beginning because you're the head coach, and they're going to give you the respect of the role at the beginning. But if you're not doing the work and you're not right and you're not putting them in the positions to succeed, if you're not setting them up for success, they're going to know really, really quickly that you're full of you-know-what, and they're going to check out.
And I think specifically LeBron, in this case, is a really good example of this. So during the season, you see him rolling his eyes when Darvin tries to do a play. You see them not paying attention, sitting on the bench. Lost that because but the thing is, I think
not getting back on defense when he
Yes.
complains about a foul. Yep.
Right, exactly. And I think that LeBron, above all, values people that are really hard workers and up to a standard. He might not like his coach all the time. It might butt heads with his coach, but he doesn't roll his eyes and sit on the bench and not listen to his coach at all if that coach is as prepared as he is or trying to be as prepared as he is. Yeah.
Here's the only thing I say. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said from the beginning. I don't disagree that Darvin Ham was not the right coach for the Lakers moving forward. I don't disagree with that. I will point the finger at the front office like, well, you guys hired him. So if you guys thought that he was going to be the right coach and all the other ones, if you guys thought he was going to be the right coach and it didn't work out, I could only look at Darvin so much to where I could also look at the front office and be like, okay, well, if this wasn't the right fit, or hypothetically a report comes out, this guy wasn't ready to grind, whatever the case is, that's on you guys to do your due diligence before he got the actual job. What I don't think is particularly fair at this stage is, well, now everyone wants to take a shot at Darvin to make JJ Redick look like a better candidate. We're gonna find out about that over time, and I don't have the answer. You don't have the answer.
I'll say this, and I don't know if I'll have success or not. I'm optimistic. I really do think that there's a real chance that he could be good at this. I am. But what typically happens, and I think that this is what you're talking about right here, Slee, is why these stories are coming out the way that they are right now. What typically happens is, and I'll go to football to start this. Baseball, same thing. I got a guy that's a hard ass, right? That's up the players and just constantly grinding them down, very critical publicly, and just grind. And we finally decide it's not going to work. The next guy you bring in is the proverbial players coach, the guy that treats everybody like an adult. It's refreshing to be treated like a man and understand like a professional and all of these things. Okay. And you kind of vacillate between the two things, that I'm going to go hard ass, I'm going to go players coach. I'm going to go hard ass and play, just back and forth, right? Well, Redick, the one thing that we do know is that dude is meticulous, that we do know that dude is about preparation, that he's about, like he was saying in that one cut, I do 28 different podcasts. He shoots 9,000 jumpers a day at game speed.
He knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking. He is prepared. You listen to that LeBron podcast, the guy is a basketball guru, right? That's why I think he and LeBron connect, that they look at it similarly and obsessively. So that pendulum is swinging to that side. It means it was probably on the other side to begin with. I think that's a lot why these stories start to come out like this.
I think also you can be, and we'll find out, and if JJ Redick becomes a head coach, let's make sure when we talk about this Lakers team, they had issues. I think the front office made decisions. I think the roster had its flaws. I think there were a lot of better teams in the Western Conference. I think there are a lot of reasons why the Lakers didn't get to where we were hoping they would get to, and I don't think it's going to get any easier come next season. Now, if you can adjust some stuff with your coach, great. Gives you a little bit better of an opportunity. I think the quote that you like the most that was part of this Jovan thing that we were talking about of, hey, JJ Redick could be our coach today, and he could also be our coach down the road, I think is the most important thing, and we'll see what happens.
And if he's prepared to do both, hey, here's my plan for this season and maybe the next, but here's my plan for the next 3 or 4, that's incredibly refreshing. And that there is a plan in place, that would be nice. The rare early June baseball game that has actual meaning. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
7 ESPN.
So earlier in the show, I posted a picture on Twitter, and it was a picture of Travis about 9 years ago when he first started with 710 ESPN, and it's just him looking dumbfounded at the camera, a screen grab from some portion of this.
That's the
post.
least bit of that I have a surprised look on my face. It's that I look like I'm 17.
So I have been reading. I tweeted out. I said, "Caption this: wrong answers only." And so we've had funny captions all day. So this one's from Dan Peralta, and it says, "When your kid can't find their shoes again." It's another good one. Another one is, "All you got was brisket?" Question mark? Question mark.
I think I'm a brisket fan. Like
You're
I know
not a
that
barbecue guy.
The right things are fine. It's not my first choice, but brisket, I know that's like the gold standard for barbecue people. Ribs and brisket. Those are the two things that you hang your hat on, right? I will eat the you-know-what out of some ribs. Love ribs.
Mm-hmm. Pulled pork?
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Pork shoulder, absolutely.
What don't you like? What don't you like
It's
about the
tough. There's no the meat itself doesn't have enough fat in it. I know it's got that big fat cap that when you smoke it,
Like
the
a
fat,
layer of it, yeah.
but the meat itself is very lean, and what makes meat taste good is all the fat that's marbled in it. That's why Wagyu beef looks like a big slab of Crisco in the pan, and it's the most wonderful thing in the history of the world.
I love your descriptions, man. The way
Am I wrong?
You're not, but it's just the way you're like Clapper Vision when it comes
Clapper Vision when it comes to meats.
Description, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, no brisket for this guy. Al has a chance to go back-to-back. Repeat as host of the year, or is it going to be Mace, who will finally win the most coveted award at the Mandy's? Find out on Saturday, June 22nd at Commerce Casino. Vote for all the awards that we're going to be handing out all night long. Right now at ESPNLA.com, you can click on the voting page with the Normand Legal logo. Vote early, vote often, vote Trav and Slee, vote Emily Producer of the Year, give Jorge a three-peat, a hat trick, and a special thanks to the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Injury attorneys you can trust, 213-747-2000. I just had an idea, Al.
The Maces go to Masons after the Mandy's?
Sure. You're home all day, right? You're still banged up.
Yeah.
Dude, just start hammering votes for our show. Just all day long. Trav and Sliwa. Like, you could get 10,000 votes in by the time the end of the day. Just start going for it.
We got bots. We got bots that are out there.
Make a bot.
I hired a couple. That's what I was spending a lot of time on some of these docs and everything else, and hacking and scams and all that stuff. I create this.
Stuff the ballot box. It's like you just read. Vote early, vote often. Just start going to town and win up and get us a show of the year right here. The Dodgers lost to the Pirates yesterday, 1-0, and the only thing I can take away from that is that the Dodgers hate Tyler Glass now because they have not scored a run for him. 0. In his last 5 starts. They have not put a run on the board in 5 consecutive starts for him. Isn't that the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
So weird. And it's so funny because players like that, I'm just assuming, when you got an ace as dominating as he is, and yesterday was a perfect example of it, his stuff's so filthy. He threw one bad pitch, and it went out for a solo homer for a guy that I think just got called up from Pittsburgh. Anyways, long story short, isn't it, I'm just assuming this, when you know you have that type of player on the mound, doesn't it make kind of looser? Isn't it easier for you to, as a batter for the Dodgers, we already know we got this. We don't got to put up that many runs to go get a W. Shouldn't it make it a little bit easier?
You would think. Your thought process, I think, is the more logical one. But the reality, this is an extreme example of this, but the reality is this is not super uncommon. It's the best pitcher on your team frequently gets really substandard run support because Tyler Glasnow has a bad day. He's given up 3. Sure. That's a bad day, right? Sure. If he has his normal day, he gives up 2 or 1. And if he has a good day, he gives up none. So maybe you're going up there being a little bit more selfish. You're trying to do a little bit more because you don't have to grind out an at-bat. That if you're going and facing Justin Verlander or whoever, you're super locked in. If you know that you need to score 7 or 8 runs to win a game because your guy you might be on your 5th guy, Then we got to grind at bats. I got to get in the middle of the bullpen. You're not going to be nearly as selfish because, like I said, this is a super extreme example where he's gone 5 games in a row, but it's not super uncommon. It's just bad luck. It's almost a weird reverse compliment. Like, I'm so sure you're not going to give any up, I may try something in the batter's box today that I might not otherwise.
I know this kind of ties a little bit into it or not, but we've got a chance. You and I were talking about this before we came on today. They got under 100 games left.
Yeah.
And we've kind of watched, you could tell the real teams in the NL. It's
how about
clear.
this, Al?
Yeah.
Do you know how many teams are over 500 in the National
Not
League?
many. Yeah.
4.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, the pathetic Padres. Angels just won their first home series this year because they took the first 2 against San Diego.
That's crazy to me.
And Padres are like the wild card. They're the I think it's them, St. Louis, and there's about 8 teams that are sitting here all within a couple games because everybody sucks other than the Braves,
Dodgers,
who
the
got
Braves,
their
the
injuries,
Phillies, and
the Brewers.
The Brewers, right.
Yeah.
4 teams over 500. They faced Paul Skenes today. Paul Skenes, number 1 draft pick a year ago. Number 1 overall. He is electric. I mean, he took a no-hitter into, the 6th inning, and either his last start or the start before last.
Kev?
He's one of those guys. He may be the best pitcher in baseball in a handful of years. He's that talented of a guy. And I don't know, Dodgers play the Yankees this weekend, so we'll get a pretty good look at 2 really good teams going at it at Yankee Stadium. But getting the Dodgers against a guy that nasty it's a little something extra in the middle of the season that you don't get all that often. To see the Dodgers go up against a guy that is just got electric stuff.
There's certain times during the year, and it might not have anything to do with your team, but it's who's on the other side. Was it last year? I want to say, I can't remember, when De La Cruz came up.
Yeah.
Did he face the Dodgers first?
Maybe, but
it might not have been the Dodgers, but I know it was early on.
He played the Dodgers early in his career.
It was early on, and it was like, hey, this is, like you said, you got a 162-game grind. There's some games that are going to be exciting. Dodgers got the Yankees coming up here okay, that's going to be fun. You know, that's an exciting series. A game against the Pirates, that doesn't mean much. But you got this dude that, if we're all talking about a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, he's got to be pretty damn good. I agree with you. It kind of adds a little bit of storyline to it. And for the Dodgers, who their offense has been pretty very mediocre, average, now you're going up against an elite pitcher like this. It'll be fun to watch.
In their last 18 games, they've scored fewer than 4 runs 13 times. They're not swinging the bats at all. And having a guy that throws 100 and can spot it and do what this Skenes guy can do is probably not the best recipe to get back on track. And Emily, what's his girlfriend's name? I forget her. I know who she is.
Libby Dunn. How could you forget?
Because I'm terrible with them. Good with faces, bad with names. Do you know, is it Libby Dunn?
Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn. Do you know her, Al?
I don't. I'm going to look her up
Have you seen a Viore commercial where there is a gymnast doing cartwheels on the beach in her Viore clothing? Have you seen that commercial? Because that's her.
Okay.
Livy Dunn was one of the highest paid college athletes last year. She was a gymnast for LSU. I don't know if she still is a gymnast for LSU.
I don't know.
She's very pretty.
Very pretty, very athletic, and apparently they're a couple.
She's very popular with young boys, apparently. So this one little kid was in the crowd, and he was asked in a Pirates game, he was dressed up like Paul Skenes. So he has a mustache on and everything, and has a Paul Skenes jersey, Paul Skenes hat. And so kid is asked, hey, what's your things about Paul Skenes? And he says, his mustache and Livy Dunn.
Those are good answers.
Yeah.
And throw a third thing in there. He throws 100 miles an hour, and he's pretty fun to watch chunk of baseball. Factor Cap is coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
is Travis and Sliwa. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hi, guys.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hey.
I'm always waiting for the response back. I need to wait a second. So today's Factor Caps are going to be a little loose, so we'll see how it goes.
All right.
So this next one is going to come from a guy who's actually referenced in Clipped yesterday. So a part that I was the Leonardo DiCaprio and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing where I was like, pointing at the screen like that guy. So LeVar Burton is talking to Doc Rivers and says, "Oh, you can live up in this area. Keanu lives there. XYZ lives there." And you're talking to Lawrence Fishburne, who
Little meta.
Yeah, from The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. Anyway, so Keanu Reeves was on my timeline yesterday, and an old video resurfaced from a press junket. I'm assuming for John Wick because he looks like John Wicky in this.
John Wickian.
Yeah, John Wick-like in this.
Long hair,
and so
beard.
he was asked what his perfect day was. And this is Keanu Reeves' perfect day.
Morning sex, eat a great breakfast, go for a motorcycle ride, come back, swim, have more sex, eat some more, hang out for a little bit, maybe do some reading, go see a movie, have more sex, go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, see some friends, take a motorcycle ride, get home, hang out a little bit, have more sex. That's a pretty good day.
So this is a perfect day, Travis, Factor Cap.
Well, no, Cap. It sounds exhausting.
Come on, Travis, old guy, 80.
Trav, you do you. Don't listen to them. Go ahead.
4 and 2 motorcycle
Okay,
rides?
9 years ago, Travis, maybe.
No, 4 is no.
I don't think ever, Travis.
Not 4 is an insane mission. That's like
Okay,
that's
but
like
you
your
have
last
motorcycle
day.
What is this,
rides
an
in
Iron
between.
Man competition?
Two motorcycle rides is one motorcycle ride too many. I like that he's got multiple meals in there.
You got a book.
But a book, that sounds very nice as well. A swim sounds wonderful. Get to rejuvenate in a nice body of water. 4 is, what about his knees? I mean, it's exhausting.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, Greg, you need to leave a little bit of ambiguity in this.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
no, you don't.
You do. If you're on my show, you do. I promise.
But you also have Keanu Reeves' home, and so you have very nice things. Anyway, Greg, what do you think?
See, that's funny, though.
That is funny.
Right, it was funny. Yeah, that sounds like a great day. I mean, 4 times is a lot. But it's still, it's exhausting. But you're not having a perfect day every day.
But also,
so
he's John Wick. He has all the energy to do that 4 times.
Whatever he's got to do.
Join the Navy SEALs for a perfect day.
Whatever he's got to take, whatever he's got to do. If you can have that be your day, that is a perfect day. 100%.
Cap. What the hell? First off, let's start with this. Anything that involves a motorcycle, it's not my day. So I have nothing to do with that. So I can't do that.
I think he has a motorcycle company, which is why he probably put that a couple times.
Okay, completely fair. I don't know if he has any other companies because he did something else that was more than 4 or 5 times a day.
Blue sheets.
The other part of it, too, is there's other features in the day that sound good, that sound great. That's a part of the process. Trav, I'm with you. My brother, we don't – I mean, I don't – what am I, becoming a ultra marathon runner? That ain't happening 4 times. That's a lot of work right there. And then the last thing I would say is I didn't hear anything about NBA TV, the NBA channel. I mean, if we want the perfect day – don't tell me we're not going to get a little bit of NBA action as part of the day. So this is Cap for me. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Jorge?
Oh, man. The perfect day indeed. The motorcycle ride is dope. Having the drinks. The motorcycle ride is dope. His motorcycles are pretty cool, too, and they're custom-made to you. Like, they measure you, your arm length, your legs, everything. So, he's got a pretty cool motorcycle company. 4 times, not a problem.
That's right, Jorge.
4 times.
You're like speaking for yourself the whole time you were talking.
Brother.
Brenda, if you're
Make
listening,
it happen, buddy.
Brenda, if you're listening, text me a thumbs
soon.
up or thumbs down.
God bless all of you.
Perfect day indeed.
Okay.
Emily, does it sound like a perfect
Sounds
day
like
for
an amazing day. I think the motorcycle rides is like the real issue here.
Because it could
I'm
be
already
to the
out of
bar.
breath.
It could be to
Right.
the friend's house. And
But
then
a
come back.
swim, read a
Swim
book,
sounds
seeing a
good.
movie,
Book
that's
sounds
important
good.
to me.
Movie sounds good.
Yeah, all this is a beautiful, perfect
My
day.
back already went out.
Maybe I'll spend it with Keanu. Who knows?
I don't know if you know this or not, but going to the movies is kind of fun. Like when I went on Monday night into the theater, that was a wonderful night. I should do that
Yeah,
more.
they're
often.
open, by the way, Trev. Just a heads up. They're all open again.
I feel like someone told you to do that
I
multiple times.
just want to make sure that she knows that it's really a nice way to kill a couple hours.
Okay, sounds great. All right, so undrafted free agent kicker, former Iowa kicker, Harrison Thicker Kicker Mevis. Was a perfect 20 for 20 on field goals throughout camp with the media yesterday. He signed a 3-year deal with Carolina and will make a strong push to be their kicker next season. That being said, with how kickers have been in the news lately, we need the thicker kicker. Greg, fact or cap?
Fact, because the thicker kicker is going to be a really good. He was the best player on the
Iowa.
He was their only offense.
He was he was their total offense. So he'll be good. And to have a positive story about a kicker for once, it's nice. It's usually about those other things that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
And missing kicks. So for a guy to actually hit his kicks,
we'll have
good for him.
Thicker kicker, Dicker the kicker. Come on, we got all these. Al, what do you think?
All right. I think fact. I don't know if I completely understand that we need the thicker kicker.
We need him.
Him individually, I will take it. Yes, I'll say fact. I know there are some storylines around kickers at the moment, but I'm still caught up on 4 times. That's a lot. That's a lot of times. A lot of times.
Trev?
Yeah, for sure. Fact. That kickers are those things that you never talk about until something bad happens. You make your kicks. Cool, good job. Next, let's get on. Go play some defense. We only talk about kickers when they say something that raises eyebrows or they miss big kicks. That the thicker kicker is in there and he's knocking them back. Good for him. And more kickers, more Justin Tuckers. Let's just make kicks and keep it moving.
What do you know about Scott Norwood?
Right. Exactly.
The only thing you know about him is that Mike Vanderjagt is just an idiot.
Our idiot kicker gets liquored up and goes on television, and he was off the team like 8 seconds later.
That's all you know kickers
for.
I like a fun kicker with a fun name. Jorge, what do you think?
Yeah, kicking is easy. I mean, at least for me, I made it from when we did the combine. Greg missed his.
4 times as easy.
What's your range?
I had a good kick.
You did have a good kick.
What's your range?
I don't know. I've never.
Could you kick a 35-yard field goal?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a pretty long field goal.
Yeah, I think I can kick one 35 yards.
You should have tried out for the Rams last year. They needed one.
Yeah.
Brent Maher.
By the way, I do want to talk about something Chase Blackburn, the special teams coordinator, said yesterday later in the show because I have thoughts. All right, so a reclusive tribe in the Amazon finally got hooked to the internet thanks to Elon Musk. This is, quote, only to be torn apart by social media, a pornography addiction, and the elders complain. So this tribe gets introduced to the internet for the first time.
They're streaming right now.
Right, exactly. They're streaming the Travis and Sliwa show. And, they did what the internet does to you, which is rot your brain and rot everything about you. So this is exactly what you would assume would happen when a new place gets internet. Al, fact or cap?
Fact. Yeah, I look, when you have access to everything, there's something about, and we've talked about this before, when you don't have your phone for a couple of hours, or you don't have access to, I know it doesn't happen often, but you don't have access to internet for a couple of hours. Like, you actually are back in control of your brain. You actually have control of, like, what you're doing. You're not doing things just mindlessly. Fact, I agree with that. If you watch what I've been watching for the last 4 days, on the TV, I had no control of what was going on. So, fact.
Trev?
Fact. The more I think about it, because this is a very remote civilization, right? Mm-hmm. Where they are our society, I should say. Where they're cut off from, air quotes, the modern world for all intents and purposes. They're deep inside the
There's
Brazilian
not a Home
jungle.
Depot within an hour.
Right. That they immediately decided, let's find if there's porn here.
They're boys. They type in things.
Not how to, clean water. Whatever it is you would think like.
Oh, they know how to do that already.
I understand, but like just the most basic human needs are, hey, what if there's people having sex on this thing? And that's right what they go to is like, that is our most lizard brain instinct in the world. So I'm not
It was
surprised.
the suggested in the search item.
Right
so
after Keanu
crazy
Reeves'
to me.
perfect day.
Right.
Bert?
So I think the question was like, this is what you expected to happen, right?
Yeah, this is what you would assume would happen.
So fact, yeah, it's when you are like we here, this is a remote tribe. It kind of all happened slowly for us. We just kind of got into AOL. We had to dial in, but then eventually got on the phone. It all happened. They went from 0 to everything, and that is extremely overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I absolutely remember.
And then they're like, why is my computer so slow? I don't understand.
What's a virus?
Why is this site doing this to
They're
me?
watching Stream East instead.
Remember in Austin Powers when he just finally got everything and it was all right in front of him and he was just blasted on the TV? That's what's going to happen.
All right, Jorge.
Yeah, whoever showed them how the internet works is the one that's going to be the culprit for showing them that.
They say type in whatever you want here, and they type in.
So like for instance, search this, and that's how it is. It's just a snowball after that.
We're all the same. We're just
remote
Isn't that kind of comforting?
Doesn't matter.
It is. It absolutely is. That whether you are in a remote society in the Brazilian wilderness or you live in
Keanu Reeves.
in the valley, you're the same guy. We're all in like, I wonder what's going on over there. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, look at that. M's got thoughts on Chase Blackburn, which I think is the first time anybody's said that sentence out loud. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day. I don't.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa
On 710 ESPN.
Al, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about, it was a weird baseball stat where any team that had beaten the Brewers in a series had gone up to win the World Series, and you were unimpressed. Emily was unimpressed.
I remember that.
Mason and Ireland were all like, yeah, Trev, who cares? That's the dumbest thing. Prepare yourself because I think I have another one of these.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
The Edmonton Oilers are in the Stanley Cup final against the Florida Panthers, which starts on Saturday.
First Canadian team to have a really good shot in a while.
Yeah, they're terrific. They have two of the 2 or 3 best players in the league. Draisaitl and McDavid. McDavid's the best. Draisaitl's pretty darn close. But what's weird, okay, this is not a hockey thing necessarily. Corey Perry, who's a former MVP, Hart Trophy winner in the league, okay, but spent the vast majority of his long career in the league with the Anaheim Ducks, won a cup with the Ducks, won an MVP award with the Ducks, okay? Corey Perry is going to the Stanley Cup final with his 5th different team. Okay, guys have been to the Cup Finals 5 times, but never on 5 different teams. Okay. It's the record ever. That is, and he's not like a good player. I shouldn't say he's not an impactful player the way that he used to
anymore.
He just keeps landing in the right spot. He got chased off of the Blackhawks this year because there were rumors of him and the top pick, Connor Bedard's mother, having a relationship of some sort.
I remember that story.
The Blackhawks basically said, Perry, you got to get the hell out of here. He ends up in Edmonton and is in another Cup final, his 5th different team in the Cup Finals. That is so bizarre to me.
Couple questions. This one's not as bad as the Brewers one. Okay?
Okay, good.
But I thought you had like a stat that was coming.
No.
Like every game, or he's 0-4 so far.
No, he's won the Cup.
Okay. Is he won it? Do we know? Is he 2-2? Is he?
So he won with Anaheim. I think he won with Florida on one of those years. He's been. I know he's not.
Was he with the Blues or something?
He was with Florida. Edmonton, Anaheim, Florida, not Florida, Tampa, and I can't even remember the other 2. Maybe Dallas, St. Louis.
What's his name again?
Corey Perry.
Corey Perry.
But this is like Vince Carter, okay, being the best player in the league for the first 10 years of his career and winning an MVP and a Stanley Cup or an NBA championship. And then towards the back end of his career, it's like years 17, 18, 19, and 20, he goes to the NBA Finals every year, but all on a different team every year. That's just so bizarre to me. I don't know if it's just me, but that seems really weird to me.
It's not bad. What I just would like is during Super Crosstalk, I want you to set it up for the guys.
I will.
And just see if they're impressed with it or not. But here's I will just say this. Don't overhype it. Just kind of come in. You know what's kind of crazy, guys? And just do it kind of fast.
But
because
I
think
hyped
the
by
more
it. I like it.
I know, I understand that, but I think the more you overhype it, I was waiting for something at the end, and there was nothing really that happened. I thought maybe
no.
You're
What
coming
happened
with,
is he's been on 5 different finals teams. That's really, really amazing.
Here are the teams. It's Anaheim Ducks.
Yep.
It's the Dallas Stars. It's the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep.
And then it's the
Tampa Lightning.
Lightning. And then it's Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's cool.
What's the Brewers stat again?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
The past 5 World Series champions.
Stop.
Anybody
Don't
that
try
had
to.
beaten the Brewers
Nobody
in the
knows
playoffs.
the stat. I don't even know if you knew what the stat was when you were
No,
giving.
I think I'm going back. I think it was. If you beat the Brewers in the playoffs, you ended up winning the World Series, which is still amazing to me. I don't care what the rest of you guys
No,
think.
the problem is you also reached a point where you're like, well, no, it didn't happen this year.
No,
you
that's
started
not true.
poking some holes in your own argument.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Because I remember I'm thinking, you got to find a way to match up with the Brewers. You got to find a way to beat the Brewers because if you do, it's a golden ticket to the World Series.
It's every team that has beaten the Brewers in the postseason has moved on to the World Series.
There you go.
But they haven't won the World
win
Series.
one more.
But they get to the World Series. That's
they
pretty
got
good
to the
too.
World Series.
So they might win one more series.
No, not necessarily. They could have to win 2 more or 3 more.
Travis.
This is
These are the things that keep me up at
Let's
night.
keep it. I want to keep this because I'm really curious. Because you might blow them out. You might blow their socks off at 110.
I have one more thing about this too. Why doesn't a team that's in contention just take Corey Perry at the end of the year?
Because he's not very good anymore.
Okay, who cares?
But you're just
Maybe
burning a rod. But you think it like as a good luck charm kind of situation?
Because the hockey players, I think, are one of the most superstitious
No
players.
question. Baseball and hockey are like this.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah, like Connor McDavid wore the same suit 4 days in a row every game.
Guess what else happened?
They won.
They won.
Exactly.
So look, it's only stupid if it doesn't work. Like Crash Davis and Bull Durham said, if you think you're pitching well because you're wearing women's underwear, then you are. It's as simple as that.
All right, so I teased this in my factor cap, and I also want to talk about this real quick. If you don't know the name Chase Blackburn, that's fine. He is a special teams coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, and he's been other places before. I know he was the Panthers at one point in time because I worked on the All or Nothing about the Carolina Panthers from 2018, and so I got familiar with Chase Blackburn as a person or as a character in this story. So Chase Blackburn was talking yesterday about the new kickoff rules, and he said this about craziest ideas when he heard about the new kickoff rule. He says, there's some crazy ones. I got to think of what the craziest is. Well, I know Jared Verse wants to go be a returner. That's an interesting one. Jared Verse, the first-round pick for the Rams since Jared Goff. So fantastic. Go throw him out there and kick returns. Fantastic. My thought, though, is how does Chase Blackburn have a job? Because last season, the Rams had an abysmal special teams. And, it's not just the kickers.
No,
I know the kickers was a problem. And if you don't have a kicker, that's an issue. They had a bad... I'm sorry, the long snapper and
their whole operation. The punter, Ethan Evans, turned out to be a really good punter, but he was a new holder. You had a brand new kicker. You had a brand new long snapper.
Yeah.
They had special teams issues up and down.
Across
on coverage, on kickoff, on all of it. I was surprised that it went the way that it did. And I wonder, Al, if it's not just a Sean McVay thing to where he's not the guy that's going to blow guys out every year. Like, if you miss something here and there, I think he's going to hold people accountable, but he's not going to he's just been so good in developing head coaches and developing staff and turning this over that he's not just going to hammer a guy who had a bad season, because to your point, Em, they certainly did.
And, I mean, it wasn't fantastic with the Carolina Panthers before. So it's just interesting to me that you can have one of the worst special teams in the league and still be out here. And so if we've talked about how whoever's going to figure out this kickoff thing someone's going to crack it open and be a really advantageous thing for your team to earn points. And that's definitely not going to be the Rams with Chase Blackburn at the helm. So here is my ticker this year. How many times did I get angry at Chase Blackburn for some reason? I know last year I mentioned who is the kicker that we didn't have anymore. Matt Gay. So I mentioned Matt Gay almost every game. Oh, no. Matt Gay would have made that kick.
More than once a game.
Yeah, exactly. So this year is going to be Chase Blackburn. I'm calling it now. All season, I'm going to mention him.
What about bad timeouts?
Also there. Okay, yeah, and using the entire bad timeouts, using the entirety of the play clock every time, because I know that we saw last week with the evidence of Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford's ear. So two things that I'm going to point out every single Rams game is terrible timeouts from Sean McVay, which I know he's working on trying to fix, and Chase Blackburn.
Al, you should come when the Rams are on the road and we're doing the show from the conference
Studio.
room here.
Yeah.
And Kirk and Em and I, we set up back there and we watch the game. And Emily gets as animated in there as on bad timeout usage, special teams mistakes than any fan in SoFi Stadium.
And
it's wonderful.
A bad Matthew Stafford interception.
When she comes in the studio, she's like, I hate it here. I hate it here.
I hate sports. I hate it here. I get animated.
She isn't. You don't get as upset with them as you would with Pittsburgh.
No, I do.
You get more upset at the Rams than the Steelers?
Okay, because I have hope in the Rams. I have no hope with the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be 8-9, 9-8. They're going to be.
They got Russell Wilson.
I'm
What are you
tell
worried
you
about?
exactly.
That's right.
They're going to
what are you worried about?
Squeak into the playoffs. They're going to lose in the first round, and they're not even going to have a chance in that first round playoff game. So I can't get upset about them when I already know what's going to happen.
Already know. Yeah.
The Rams, they're in flux.
The Rams?
The Rams are going to the playoffs.
They might, or they might be terrible. Who knows?
They might. Speaking of upset, LeBron James upset that he's no longer teammates with Kyrie Irving. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, is your ride ready? Right? Is it time for you to take a look at that sticker? Are you past due? Is it time to get your ride serviced? Get yourself into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Because for over 30 years, Valvoline's been taking care of you. They've been providing you quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you and me. Valvoline, you don't even get out of the car. You stay right there, right in the front seat, while a pit crew goes to work on your ride, making sure that it's at its absolute best. You can check out for 15 minutes, relax, listen to a podcast, listen to some music, close your eyes, send a text, whatever it is you need to do. You don't even get out. Nice and relaxed at Valvoline. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and a whole lot more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. And there's one right around the corner from wherever you are. Over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time at all. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Mason and Ireland. I cannot whistle. I've never.
Annie and Michelle, now mornings 6 to 10 a.m. on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN. KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day. I don't.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa
on 710 ESPN.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Speaking of Alan Sliwa, Slee, you going to repeat as host of the year, or is Mason finally going to take you down for the most coveted award at the Mandy Awards? We all will find out Saturday, June 22nd at Commerce Casino. You can vote for all the awards that we're going to hang out right now at ESPNLA.com. Click the voting page with the Normand Legal logo. Vote early, vote often. Special thanks to the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Injury attorneys you can trust. 213-747-2000. So the only two people, I think I got this right. Jorge and Lindsay are the only back-to-back winners, right?
I mean, and Radio Tinder has one back-to-back.
I think
I'm giving her credit for that one, too.
Ireland's got most knowledgeable.
Oh, okay, yeah, so John's gone back-to-back.
MT maybe funniest, I think, back-to-back.
Okay, so more than I
And I think Momo has been fill-in host of the year back-to-back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so basically, if you don't repeat, you're a giant loser. Is basically what we're getting at. So, Slee, you gotta make sure that you take care of business.
Well, technically, what they've done, they're 2 for 2. I'm only 1 for 2. So right now,
they're undefeated.
They're undefeated.
Yeah,
they're undefeated. Right
You're
now.
the reigning champ. They're undefeated.
They're undefeated.
Are you gonna make your case?
Remember, from the Mandys to Mason's, just everybody knows the after party will be at Mason's house, and we'll put out his address here shortly.
Do better than Funches. Make your case for your back-to-back Host of the Year award.
Come on, you know me too well now. You know me too well. I can't make the case. If people want to vote, if they think that
you didn't make the
I'm
case
worthy
last
enough,
year,
if they think I'm worthy enough for back-to-back, then they should vote for me. But if they don't, if that's not in their heart, if they feel like, you know what, let's get Mason his first one, then damn it, give it to Mason. If they feel like T-Raj is the best one out there, then go vote for T-Raj.
This is a good campaign. See, this is Funches. Pay attention to what he's doing right here. This is how you do it. This is how, if they feel it in their heart, they should. But otherwise, this is a very genuine. This is a very slow. This is a very. If they feel like that's what they want
to do, and they think it's worthy enough, great. If they don't, then I think they got to go vote with their hearts.
I think you should start pandering to the other audiences too. You know, pander the Mason Island audience. You know, I don't know, they're all in senior living homes, I'm assuming, and then you pander to Sonano and Kath, a circle of trolls, and get someone over there.
You've got a little ageism thing going on.
Hey, do I?
Yes.
What? That's crazy.
Jesus.
Me as
she bullies the elderly.
I respect them. I hold them in high esteem. I just know where they're at.
You're just aware of their birth certificate.
I'm aware of where they live and their birth certificate and how much hair they have in their head.
Al, I want to play this for you. This is LeBron talking with JJ Redick, as a matter of fact, on his podcast or their podcast.
On what JJ's contract's going to be?
Well, I'm sure that came up after they turned the recording equipment off. Like, how many years are you going to get, bro? I don't know. How many are you going to get me?
How many years do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you
I'll
how
make
many
sure
years
you're
going to get.
Yeah, exactly right. Here he is talking about his relationship with Kyrie Irving and the feelings he has for him right now, seeing him go to the NBA Finals.
Listen, I will call Kyrie the wizard all the time. There was nothing on the basketball floor that Kyrie couldn't do. And sitting here watching it, I'm like so happy and so proud and to watch him and continue his growth or whatever the case may be. And at the same time, I'm so mad at the same time that I am not his running mate anymore. So I'm like, to have a guy like Kyrie Irving as the ultimate wild card, it's like having a draw four in your hand every time someone deals you cards in Uno. Because of that wild card, I have so many words to praise Kyrie that I end up with absolutely none. Because he's the most gifted player the NBA has ever seen.
What'd you make of that, Al?
I'm not crazy about I'm so mad at the same time that I'm not his running mate anymore. It's impossible not to take that quote and just, have some certain thoughts about it. I get the praise that he's given Kyrie, he should. Kyrie Irving hit we're going to remember LeBron James of his entire resume of what LeBron James accomplished in his career. And he may go down as the greatest player of all time and the all-time scoring and top 5 in assists. I mean, everything you could possibly think of what LeBron did. Kyrie is very, 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 very involved in my opinion, is his greatest accomplishment.
Sure.
He won a chip in Cleveland.
Of course.
Right? And it was Kyrie hitting the on-the-road Game 7 3-pointer that won them the game and one of the most clutch shots in NBA history. I think he has so much fond appreciation of what Kyrie's doing today, and he's proud that this man is in the NBA Finals going up against the Boston Celtics. Kyrie's got a lot of reason to do why Dallas is there. I don't understand I'm so mad at the same time that I'm not his running mate anymore. They haven't been teammates for a long time. You're currently playing with another franchise and another team, and your running mate is Anthony Davis. You've actually won an NBA championship since that time that you had with Kyrie Irving. I just don't. I don't really know what, because I could take that and say to myself, and this is LeBron saying it. So if LeBron is saying it, immediately people are going to try to take stories and say, well, what's that? Is he saying that he's not crazy about his running mate now? I don't believe that, but I'm saying someone can interpret it that way. Can he be saying, hey, fellas, you know how I was trying to get Kyrie on this team and you guys didn't listen to me? I'm upset at the office or at the front office if that's the case. I think it's impossible not to think that a quote like that, someone will interpret it a certain way.
I think that all of the things that you mentioned, like is he upset with the Lakers? Is he upset with his current teammates? These are reasonable questions to ask after hearing or more to the point, reading the quote. But when I listened to it, and when I was listening to the exchange, and Slee, you know me well enough to know I love looking for hidden meaning in things. And with LeBron James, you don't have to look real hard to find hidden meaning in things because he is very strategic.
King of it.
Maybe no one has done it more obviously and frequently than he has, whether it's the crown, whatever it is, the clock or the hourglass, that's what it was. He does. I'm going to give him some grace in this one. It didn't register like that for me at all. What it registered to me as was a guy talking about an old teammate, almost like an old friend that you hadn't seen in a while, you hadn't been with in a while. It's like, man, I love that guy. Man, I miss being with. I love being around that guy. Man, it just tears me up that I don't get to spend more time with an old friend. And that sports is obviously very different, and that's why we kind of add meaning to a lot of these things that I don't think necessarily have a ton of meaning. I love hidden meanings. I love trying to decode LeBron's, cryptography that he puts out of these things. I really just think he was trying to show Kyrie a whole bunch of love. I don't think there was shade directed at anybody in those comments. It just doesn't feel like it's there to me.
This is what I think would be the difference. If a year and a half ago we weren't having a conversation that Kyrie wants out of Brooklyn, and the Lakers were not rumored to potentially make a deal. We did this a week ago. Once Dallas punched their ticket to the NBA Finals, you and I were having the conversation, and I was telling you that I'm getting a lot of people saying, the Lakers made a mistake, and they should have went out and got Kyrie Irving, this and that. I got no issues with Kyrie not being a Los Angeles Laker because how the hell were you supposed to know either at the trade deadline a year and a half ago that Kyrie was going to come here and all of a sudden everything was going to be okay, or in the offseason go offer this guy a 3+ deal. I think Dallas offered him 3 years and $120 million. I got no issue that the Lakers didn't go after Kyrie Irving. Who would have thought that he'd have done what he did with the Dallas Mavericks? But I think because of those connections, I think because there are close ties to the franchise, Kyrie Irving was watching he went one of these, I think it was last year, he went to a Laker playoff game, like giving indications it felt like that he wanted to be a Los Angeles Laker. That's the only reason why I look at the quote a little bit different. And I almost feel like you and I are switched. You're right, because I would usually say, guys, there's nothing here. We're trying to make something of it. And I'm also not trying to make a claim that he's talking specifically to it. I just think it's tough to not think anything of it.
I think the most cynical reading of this, and believe me, I love cynicism. I'm unfortunately a cynical person. I just kind of how I see the world, is his cynicism or his criticism is based in I didn't push hard enough to get what I wanted at the time. Because I still have a very hard time going back, and maybe the frustration is that the Nets just wouldn't do it for whatever reason, whether they didn't want to deal with the Lakers, whether they didn't want to give Kyrie what he wants, whatever
Probably
their
both.
motivation was, almost doesn't matter.
Wasn't good enough package.
Perhaps, and maybe it just wasn't enough coming back the other way. But this was, did I make my feelings clear enough to everyone involved that you need to do this? This is the best player, and sing that song as loudly as you can. And maybe he didn't, and now he's trying to rewrite history a little bit like, hey, man, I did want it, when maybe he actually didn't go as aggressively as they want. It may have had nothing to do with that. That's why I think, because I think what you said, Em, and I think some of the reasons that you've brought up, Al, there just wasn't they didn't have enough stuff to get that deal done. Nobody wanted Russell Westbrook. The two picks that they have, like, regardless of the specifics of it, this just felt like me saying, man, I love that guy. That's all it felt like to me.
Here are the layers. The layers, too, of just to kind of add some context if we go back a little bit. Remember who was on Brooklyn? It was Kevin Durant. So if you're trading Russell Westbrook back to Kevin Durant on the Brooklyn Nets, I think there was a very Brooklyn side of it, like, okay, we don't want to do that either. Let's add another layer to it. This was just coming off. The Lakers just went swinging for Russell Westbrook and failed miserably. And now you're going to go take another shot at another player that, think of Kyrie when he was in Brooklyn and what his stock was at that time, what the storylines were around Kyrie Irving. I think the franchise was making a right decision by saying, okay, we don't want to play with this, we don't want to mess with this, or maybe they just didn't have enough coming back. But I'm not saying that this might not have been a calculated thing. This could have just came out of his mouth when he's talking about the podcast. But him saying I'm mad at the same time that I'm
Do you
not
think he was?
running
Do you
mate
think he
anymore.
was throwing heat at the Lakers? Was this a you guys blew this? I told you he was the guy, and you didn't do it. Was that what you're seeing and hearing?
I think it could. I don't think there's a direct shot saying. I don't think that quote is, "Hey, did you guys just hear this?" I don't think that. But I do think that there is a little bit of a you can easily make that, you can interpret it that way.
Em, did you hear that? Because I didn't. I did not hear heat at the Lakers. I heard, I love that guy and I want the world to know it.
I think maybe it's more of LeBron evaluating, like, maybe why he wanted to be longer with Kyrie. Maybe I don't know.
Like going back to the Cleveland times.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just talking about this guy, but I don't know. I'm coming back to, like,
because sometimes when you go, look, their relationship was mutually beneficial, right?
Yeah.
They both got what they needed from each other at that time, but the relationship obviously changed.
And Kyrie wanted to have his own team.
He wanted to have his own team,
yeah.
and if the reporting was accurate, and I believe that it was, that LeBron became frustrated with Kyrie. That's just like, this just isn't working the way they used to. Relationships change and evolve, and you need to go away to realize that you need each other or that you love each other and these sort of things. And it's been, what has it been, Al? 5-6 years since they've been teammates?
Something like that, yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a while, right? That's a long time.
6 with just the Lakers, so.
Yeah, so so it's been a long time since they were sharing real estate together and a locker room together and a plane together and hotels and on all the things that you learn to love someone and learn to become deeply frustrated by someone. And maybe it's just enough time has gone by to, man, I love that guy.
Well, Kyrie wasn't, how Al talked about how Kyrie was at the playoff games last year. Kyrie wasn't hopping on a podcast talking about how much he loved LeBron.
But he did say that LeBron, when he was in Boston, that he reached out to LeBron and said, hey, I can appreciate your leadership role in Cleveland much more now that that's being tasked to me. And he did not thrive in that role. And it took him some time to understand it. And again,
you could tell they got a good relationship.
We're all different people. 5 years, if you're not a different person after a 5-year span of time, you're not doing life right.
I do think what you're saying is it's not unlike when LeBron tweets about Anthony Edwards and when LeBron tweets about other people that he's watching. If he's watching a game, he likes to give praise to guys that are showing up and doing a good job. Doesn't mean necessarily that he wants Anthony Edwards to come hop on his team right now.
Al, you got one of your Padres kicked out of baseball for life.
I have to kick out a couple more guys with the way these guys are playing.
We'll see who Slee wants to kick out of baseball forever. Coming up next, it's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
ESPN.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Al, have you asked Morales for some extra Mandy's tickets? I was trying to get a handful for my buddies, and I was striking out. I know he likes you better than me, so I was hoping
How many you need?
I like 10.
You need 10? I got you. I'll get a couple.
Just tell them to show up on the day.
Yeah, just I just want to have a few in my pocket to distribute to my buddies.
I would actually say, hey, I would kind of give them a range. Say I need 10 to 20. I'll let you know.
I'll give you back what I don't use.
I'll let you know around 4 p.m. on that Saturday.
If you would like to go to the Mandy's, you need to get online right now because tickets are on sale for Mandy's 3 at the Commerce Casino. It's coming up on the 22nd of this month, Saturday, June 22, the biggest party we throw all year long. We'll find out which show will take home the Champagne and Nuts Trophy for Show of the Year. Travis and Sliwa, vote for us. Plus, great giveaways and entertainment. Watch the bits come to life. Get your tickets right now. ESPNLA.com. Click the Mandy's 3 logo, and we will see you at the Mandy Awards. Live music, Slee. Open fire cooking. These are all things.
An open flame.
Open flame, yeah.
Get a goodie bag, too.
Goodie bag. 2
Get
drink
you some,
tickets. With your ticket, you get 2 drink tickets. You want a martini? Bam! Martini.
Damn.
You want a cold beer? Bam! Cold beer.
I
Glass
pay
of
for
wine?
those. Out of my pocket.
I mean, if you're in anywhere in Southern California and you kind of go out of your way to listen to the station, come hang out with us for a night.
It'll be good.
Everybody that's come always appreciated it, so come hang out.
And you can watch Al go back to back. Maybe the show gets our first one. Maybe Emily gets her first one.
Let's get the show one. Yeah, I'd rather get the show one, get M one.
We don't hate you.
We don't hate you. I think that's a very compelling message to deliver to our audience.
Except for apparently, I hate old people. I don't hate old people.
You hate the elderly.
I just
it's
know
been well
where they are.
And we already know.
I don't hate old
right
people.
Right now, fighting it is not helping your case.
I don't hate old people. I have great respect for the elderly in our community. I just want to put that out there.
Al,
I just know where they are.
Would you agree with the statement that she bullies me frequently about my advanced age?
Absolutely.
I don't even I, like the question part of it. I don't even understand. Like that's not even a question. There's nobody that listens to our show would ever question that she does not do that. To you.
I was trying to have a moment with the team here, and the picture that Emily tweeted out earlier, my friend Jay Stu sent me the other day. He's like, hey, I don't know how he found it, but he saw it and sent it to me. And I was struck at how young I looked in the picture. It's only 9 years old. It's not that. It's a long time ago, but it's not that long ago. So in that picture, I was 43 years old. Okay, the way that I look now does not feel like 52. It feels like 102. And I was in my feelings a little bit. And you guys tell me. I don't feel like I'm the most emotional person in the world. I feel like I'm reasonably steady. I know we all have good days and bad days, but
an emotional wreck.
I was feeling bad about myself in that moment, and the glee on her face when she saw the picture,
come on.
the absolute excitement in knowing what was going to come up that day.
What did you want me to say?
Oh no, you look fine. You look great. I don't think you've aged a day. You just decided to
I'm gonna
go
lie
with
to you.
both feet. Just jump on me with both feet. I'm just telling you. That's how I took
the
that.
noise she made too. She's like, oh,
keep the beard.
Why would you make that noise?
Beard's pretty
Pairing
gray.
the two.
Yeah.
Keep the beard.
Why are you so adamant about that?
I'm more. I like everybody with beards better.
You just generally speaking, you're
I
a
think
beard
people
fan?
look better with beards. They feel like they look too young without a beard. I think you should look your age, and I think that people don't look too young without a beard.
I say you shave it tomorrow. Show up with no beard.
Oh, speaking of, tomorrow is M's birthday, and Slee,
right.
you know what we should do? So Thursdays we draft sometime in the 12 o'clock hour.
Yep.
At noon.
At noon, occasionally at other times.
And
I
then
think.
Friday, if Andy's here, we have a draft
we'll
on
draft on
Thursday.
Friday. Emily's hatred of the elderly.
No, don't put that on there. I don't want that out there on ESPN Los Angeles.
Dislike? Contempt
don't
for?
Don't have dislike. I have great respect for the elderly.
We should draft things that we know Emily dislikes.
Oh, that's good.
What do you think?
And you can also guess at some stuff. Maybe I actually do dislike things. I haven't brought it up.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the odds are pretty good.
Our list of what Emily hates the most.
Just throw a dart. Then you down?
Well, how is she going to do it?
Well, she knows what she hates.
Yeah,
I know,
and
but
maybe I don't get the first person in the draft.
Right. If you don't get Russell Wilson first or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And obviously keep it appropriate.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Let's do it.
I like that.
Let's do it. Ipe pled guilty. He could, the maximum sentence he could serve is 33 years. Probably won't get 33 years, but sounds like he's going to do some time. The Dodgers, as quickly as humanly possible, said, okay, cool, we're done. Baseball, as humanly as possible, okay, cool, this is over. And then simultaneously, a Padres utility man and some low-level minor leaguers. The Padres guy, Marcona, suspended for life. The minor leaguers suspended for 1 year. We saw what happened with Jonte Porter. We've seen the head coach at Alabama, the baseball coach at Alabama, was quickly dismissed from his job because of some gambling improprieties along the way. And it just feels like this is the new normal where gambling and the sports world are going to collide in a bad way pretty periodically.
Okay, so this is, and I think we'll put the bow on this because I don't know how much is going to come up again. If there's some journalists out there and reporters that want to figure out a different theory on this, I'm all ears. But I will never fully believe the whole Ipe and Shohei story.
I'm with you.
I just won't. I mean, if we're just going to pretend 17 mil went missing and nothing to see here, it's a crock of you-know-what for me. But I understand how the world works and how power works, and we'll see what happens there. But I think what I think's more interesting is, like you mentioned, yesterday I'm looking on my phone and I'm like, there's a dude in a Pittsburgh Pirates jersey, and it says Padres player bet or whatever. This is a couple days ago, whatever it was. Now I'm trying to put the piece. I don't know who the player is, so I just know that okay, this isn't a player that is playing every day for the San Diego Padres. But for me, I think what was the more interesting thing is it's coming. And what I mean by it's coming is, what is Major League Baseball or the NFL or the NBA going to do when they have a player that everybody knows that, the reports come out, this isn't hey, this was through a third party or this or that, whatever the case is. And we're looking at it, it's like, that dude's an all-star, and he bet on basketball. You cannot tell me that that's not going to happen here in the next couple of years. And listen, I get it. This is all part of a business. A lot has changed in the gambling world over the last couple of years. Use us as an example. We talk about PrizePicks. There's multiple others that are out there, of course, the FanDuels, the Underdog Fantasy. They're everywhere. And it's so easy to get on your phone and to start betting at any time. You're going to tell me that we're going to be sitting here 5 years from now when we're not talking about a player who's a significant player in the league. I'm telling you, he doesn't have to go be an MVP, but a significant player that's facing a ban in baseball or football or basketball. Isn't it just a matter of time until it happens?
Oh, yeah. And it's not – it's basically alcohol, right? That this – because you're right. It's this idea where this guy from the Padres or Ipe Mizuhara or any of these guys, and then you turn around and there's a FanDuel commercial, a PrizePicks commercial. And they're everywhere. But – people abuse drugs and alcohol. You turn around, there's a beer commercial. There's all of these things that some people are not going to know how to do it within reason. Some people are not going to know how to do it responsibly. And if you're a baseball player, the rule isn't you can't gamble. The rule is you can't gamble on baseball.
Sure.
And there are some guys that are just never going to be able to stop it anywhere. They know whatever that line in the sand is, they're going to blow right past it every time. But you're right.
Especially if they feel like they got an upper hand in the sport that they're a professional in.
Well, like, for instance, this Marcona guy was terrible at this, right? He gambled about $150,000 on baseball and had a 5% winning percentage. Okay, he was terrible at it. So you can kind of look at it, I don't know who the hell that guy is. He's never in games. He doesn't play. And, oh, by the way, every bet he's making didn't hit. So what the hell does he know what he's doing? But what's going to happen, to your point, Al, it's going to be the starting point guard. It's going to be the left tackle. It's going to be the shortstop, right? The guy who can swing it. The guy who maybe does win at a rate that maybe is a little bit out of the norm. And now what happens is this stuff was illegitimate. The reason Tim Donaghy was so terrifying for the NBA wasn't that one of their players, or one of their referees, I should say, had a gambling problem or was doing these things. It's that it would render the sport illegitimate.
Is it the NBA or is it the WWE?
Right. And so that's where the real, not that guys will always have addiction issues, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling, whether it's sex or whatever it may be. All of these things can be the thing that grabs you and you can't get away from it. It's what does it do? How long does it go? Which games did they play in? Hey, what the hell happened right there? What do you mean that ball went through his wickets? That guy's a two-time Gold Glover. How did he miss that one? That's the great fear, is that a situation like that pops up. Some guy named Marcona, who none of us know, it's like, oh, yeah, you get him out of here. Who cares? What if it is a name that we know? What does that do to the sport? What does that do to the legitimacy? What does that do to the business of baseball, basketball, football, hockey?
Sure.
That's the part that gets super complicated.
Yeah, and I think ultimately at the end of the day, every one of these businesses are saying to themselves, and it's all the entities, the networks, the leagues, we'll take our chances. And they're going to take their chances because they know how much, obviously revenue is coming in just from this. At the same time, I think what you just said about this is the fear that all these sports should have. And by the way, we know what's going on right now in college football, college basketball, NIL money. Who the hell's involved in a lot of that money? It's hard to kind of track. I mean, it's also that's in itself is another thing. But what you just said, I think, is the most important thing. If any of these leagues get into a situation where they're having this issue, and now you're questioning the integrity of the game, that's not something that you could just kind of walk back and you could do a quick little presser and somebody comes in and reads a statement. That's a difficult one to overcome.
Hot and cold, coming up next is Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, John Ireland here. To build a winning team, you have Take it away, Producer M.
All right, who's hot? And I've been waiting to talk about it all day. Stop me if I'm going on too long about this, but I am so freaking excited. So, Traitors Season 3 cast has been announced today.
What is Traitors?
Traitors is a Peacock original.
It's like a Peacock original
reality series where a group they get all these reality shows. Basically, it's the reality show Avengers. All the best characters.
It's like an all-star game.
Yeah, from all these reality shows together in one place. And they play a game called Traitors. It's basically very similar to, if you guys played Mafia, when it was in the hype, there are 2 or 3 traitors, and everyone else are faithful. And you try to figure out who the traitors are before they kill everybody. Quote unquote, kill it. And you just get to know, and they get kicked off the show.
Right.
And there's a prize at the end. But basically, you're seeing all these people that you wouldn't ever see interact with each other. So, like, Parvati from Survivor is interacting with Phaedra from Real Housewives.
Why are you making people up?
I'm not, okay? So here is the list of the cast of Traitors Season 3. So even if you don't watch all these reality TV shows, you'll find somebody that you like.
Can I just say before you go through the list, I am almost done scrolling through the entire list.
Yeah.
Trav, I've never seen one of these people in my life.
All right,
okay,
go
have
ahead.
fun. All right, so there's Rob Mariano, Boston Rob, okay, from Survivor, who could forget. There's Dorinda Medley, The Real Housewives of New York City. Chriselle Strauss, Selling Sunset. Brittany Haynes, Big Brother. Danielle Reese, Big Brother. Bob the Drag Queen, RuPaul's Drag Race, amazing. Can't wait for Bob to be there. Wells Adams, Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise.
I think I get the picture. Yeah, okay.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Well, she's not done. There's 14 more.
There's Gabby Windy, The Bachelorette, amazing. Tony from Survivor, 2-time winner Tony. Jeremy Collins, Survivor.
2-time winner
Tony. Carolyn from Survivor, I love her. Also, Zac Efron's brother, who dated Britney Spears, is going to be on it.
Okay.
Mr. Efron, Dylan Efron.
That part is quasi-interesting to me.
It's going to be, and then Alan Cummings hosts it.
What's the name of this Selling Sunset woman?
Selling Sunset woman is Chriselle Strauss.
Spell Chriselle.
Chrishell Strauss.
Trav has a home in the market in the area that he's been trying to get rid of for a while, so he'd love to contact her.
Exactly. But it's hosted by Alan Cummings in Scotland, and they go to this big Scottish castle, and it's so campy, it's so over the top, and I can't wait.
This is probably not the right time to ask this question, and if the answer is I can't explain it to you in less than 30 seconds, well, I will come into your office afterwards, and you can try to do it. Why should I care about any of these people?
Because they're engaging. The way that they are on these reality shows is they are the best of the people that we care about if you watch them. They jump off the page. They're cunning. They have interesting characteristics about them. So these are not just like nobodies in the reality show world. These are like the
I'm glad you had the qualifier in there.
Of the top, brother.
My jaw was open. I was texting Janice Garcia, who's one of our former employees, coworkers here.
Hello, Janice.
And because she works for NBC.
So this is literally the Avengers thing. You think the comparison you made, I think, is right. That if you are a Marvel person, the Avengers is the thing you're looking forward to because they're all in the same place.
Yeah.
This is you're
like the Scarlet Witch is talking to the Black Panther. Like, what are we doing here?
Trav, this is a 1992 dream team right here.
That's me saying Rob is talking to Bob the Drag Queen. Like, what are we doing here?
Let me just put it to you this way. I'm happy that you're happy.
It's so exciting. It was one of the most streamed things last year on
sure.
Anywhere.
I believe you.
Sure.
This is
Go
why,
off, Queen.
This is why we are.
Anybody out there who's a reality show fan is going to love it. Your wives are going to love it. It's going to be great.
What's our slogan? Or before our new slogan?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares?
We don't hate you, and who cares?
All right. So what's cool is Jeopardy. So the past couple of weeks we've had like funny answers from reality show games come up. The Wheel of Fortune. Up the butt.
What was the last one? Yeah, that's what it was.
Newlywed game.
Yeah. Up the butt.
We can use euphemisms. We don't have
Okay.
She took the filter off.
And then this is Jeopardy last night. And what comes up, I have to explain a little bit because it makes it even more obvious. It is 21st century sports. And it's the most valuable question, the highest value of question. And it's a picture. And it's a picture of Russell Westbrook, but as a Thunder. with Oklahoma City Thunder. So this is the piece of sound.
And here's the last clue in 21st Century Sports. With Oklahoma City, this master of the triple-double became the first back-to-back MVP of the NBA All-Star Game since the 1950s. Adriana.
Who is Durant?
Sorry, no. Who is his teammate Russell Westbrook.
And I did not cut that. That is the amount of silence that there was there. No one even attempted another one. So Russell Westbrook took it out right there.
So I have a couple questions here. Number one, the typical Jeopardy contestant is not your typical sports fan. That Venn diagram doesn't have a ton of overlap. There's a little bit. And Russell Westbrook is probably just outside the thing that somebody might get. Like LeBron James, they're going to get. Steph Curry, they're going to get. Tiger Woods, they're going to get. They're going to get Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
Yeah, they're Kobe, for sure. Westbrook's just outside that thing where if you are the most casual of sports fans, you might not know. That's number one. Number two, if this is the most difficult of the sports questions, and for all four of us, this is the it's a layup. It's beyond easy. Are all of those other categories as easy if you happen to know those things? Like if you are an opera fan, are all those questions that easy?
Potent
potables. Are they all? Because if that's the hard sports question, that's really easy. Now, I don't know, like, for instance, this category pops up on Jeopardy all the time. I love Jeopardy. The Bible. I don't know any of the answers. Okay, I do. But are they that easy? Are all the categories that easy if you have even just a small working knowledge of the categories?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. I think we've kind of said this before. A lot in Jeopardy that do well, it's because they know they don't have to be a master in one. It's like you got to know a little bit of everything. And well, actually, no.
But that's what I'm getting at, though.
Then that would make the case. Then that
like I don't need to know. Like I need to know the 10 most popular Bible stories. I need to know the 10 most popular operas. I need to know
10 most popular music artists right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Russell Westbrook is not a deep cut. If you are even a moderate sports fan, you get it. You have to be super casual not to know it.
Yeah. I could see where you come from there. That's probably. I think it leans more towards those questions have to be more towards, I guess, that level that you're talking about with Russ in comparison to other categories.
I want to talk more about the Trader Season 3 because honestly,
call Janice.
You guys don't have enough energy for this.
I want you to talk about it, but start at 1:15.
This is big news, guys.
At
they had an entire
1:15-ish. I think you should go on a rant.
It was like the NFL schedule release, but it was for Trader Season 3. And it was Alan Cumming sitting down and telling us who every person was. I still can't believe Zac Efron's. Oh, I forgot the biggest one. Tom Sandoval's on it.
Sandy.
Scandival? You never even heard about Tom Sandoval, Scandival, Vanderpump Rules?
Oh, Vanderpump Rules? Yeah, never heard of it.
I feel like the lady who didn't know Russell Westbrook all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant?
Tom Sandoval's a big deal.
To who?
To a lot of people. He
got
blew up yet last year. He was persona non grata.
I'm not saying he's not popular. I'm saying that big deal is relative.
Do you remember that guy?
Big deal. You're right about
Yeah.
that. Let's not use the word big deal so loosely.
He cheated on his girlfriend of a long time.
Do you need Janice's phone number? Because I have it. I can give it to you. You can call her.
So I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
FaceTime her at 1:15.
Where he said that he had more hate than OJ had. Like people hated him more than OJ. He just is like.
Did he kill 3 people?
No, I know. That's why I brought it up before, and then I don't think we brought it up because he's like, who's Tom Sandoval? And anyway, Tom Sandoval's on it.
Who's hot, who's cold is brought to you by NextGen. NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXTGen, 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit NextGen Air and Plumbing.
And Gabby's on it, and Wells is on it. I can't believe that they have Carolyn as one of the newer Aero Survivor players that's on it, which is kind of crazy.
Hey, it's Mace. Life may not always go as the playbook intended, but the
You good?
You guys have any more questions for me about reality TV show? Because it's amazing. I can't believe you guys are not going to be ready for when Boston Rob and Tony go after each other.
Here's what I can tell you for sure. Slee, I think I speak for both of us on this.
Jorge, can you pod down her mic?
Yeah, I'll make sure it's connected.
I will not know anything about that other than what you tell me about it. It will never cross my radar.
You can make up anything, too, because the names we know are not real.
Yeah, I'll say
the names
Cincinnati
that you
Joe.
just said are not real.
Sounds like an Old West villain.
Yeah.
Oh, Cincinnati Joe's in town. He killed 3 men.
Boston Rob sounds a little bit like that. But what I want, Travis, here's what I want you to do. I want you to watch one singular episode so that you can ask me questions about it. So when it comes out, I think maybe it comes out like later this year.
Okay.
I want you to watch the pilot episode. And I want you to write down. That's your homework. I want you to write down questions for me about why this is a good show.
All right. I'm going to have more questions about Clipped. I need to go and take in the second episode. I didn't get a chance to do it last night, but just Slee, that's your homework assignment to be.
I'm in.
Are you coming in tomorrow?
I'm going to come in Monday. Okay. John, you have a big smile on your face. What's the only
going
thing
on?
I don't want to do, I just want to spread little things going on here.
So Slee,
I cannot believe you idiots don't know who Tom Sandoval
I have
is.
no idea who that is.
Exactly.
Seriously, do you not know anything about Vanderpump?
I know that she's a woman.
Even that you know Lisa is
I know
woman.
Lisa Vanderpump is a woman. That's the extent of my knowledge.
All right, so basically, Slee, have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
So basically, Lisa Vanderpump owns a bunch of restaurants in Beverly Hills, and all the people that she hire are exceptionally good looking.
Okay.
All of them, the men, the women, everybody. And so Sandoval was living with one of these really good. He's one of the guy bartenders, good looking dude. Was living with.
He's
one
an
of,
employee of hers.
Right, they all are.
Okay.
All of them are. So he was living with this girl Ariana, who is, I'd say Ariana's pretty hot. Wouldn't you agree, Em?
Yes, very hot.
Okay. So she just had the lead in Chicago on Broadway.
Oh.
All right. So the whole time, Sandoval's living with Ariana. 9 years they lived together. He was sleeping with another girl that works with him. And it all blew up. And I mean, when I say it blew up, it was all over everything. I don't know how you guys didn't see this.
Was it on the NBA Network?
Do you ever watch Bravo?
I watched Bravo when they had reruns of The West Wing, but now that it's on Max, I don't have to go over there anymore.
Right.
Did Scott Van Pelt talk about it at all?
I would bet Scott Van Pelt knows who Tom Sandoval
And
is.
see, John, I didn't even watch Vanderpump Rules until Scandival happened, and I was like, I have to know about the story.
So, Trav,
can I ask you a stupid question?
Yeah, absolutely.
How does Tom, is his name?
Tom Sandoval.
How
right.
does Tom Sandoval...
And by the way, he's best friends with a guy named Tom Schwartz.
Okay.
And they own one of Lisa's restaurants, which is called Tom Tom. It's in West Hollywood.
That's clever.
And if you're wondering, yes, I've been there more than once.
Have you been to Sur a bunch?
Okay,
Oh,
hold on. We're getting too far afield right here. I need to be singular.
I'm looking up
focused here
Tom
for a
Tom
second.
on Yelp right now.
Sandoval was in a long-term relationship with one person.
Living with her, yeah.
Living with her.
Ariana Maddox.
Carrying on an affair with a second person who also works at the restaurant.
Whose name is Rachel, but she told everybody her name was Raquel to be sexier.
Okay, so Raquel and Tom are carrying on an affair.
Yeah.
And this is all televised?
Oh, yeah. Well, no. I mean, no.
That's not much of an affair.
It came out, and the way he got caught is Sandoval, among his many talents, besides being a bartender, is the lead singer of a band.
Is he any good?
No. Okay. But that doesn't stop them from putting him on TV.
Okay.
And by the way, Slee, you asked an interesting, or maybe it was you, Trav, you asked, why should I care about these people?
Yes.
Do you remember George Costanza's answer?
Because it's on TV?
Yes. that's why you care.
Why am I watching
about
this?
These?
Because it's
on TV.
Not
Okay,
yet,
well,
it's
John, are you as excited about, I'm assuming then, this all-star cast of all
No,
this?
I don't watch Traitors, but I love Alan Cumming.
You would love it, John.
Okay, I'll check it out. Because, Emily, I don't watch Survivor, and a majority of those people are on Survivor,
No,
right?
so the majority of the people that I brought up are Survivor because I like Survivor.
Right.
Phaedra, do you know who Phaedra is?
Yeah, from Real Housewives.
So she was a traitor last year and nearly won.
Really?
So it's a lot of Real Housewives. It's a good mix of Big Brother, Survivor.
Yeah, let me see if I can
Are
bring
all
this.
of these shows that you're talking about, when you say somebody won, is there? I know the Survivor, you win a bunch of money.
Traitor,
Right.
you win money.
Okay.
Yeah, all these shows you basically win money. But
Okay.
let me see if I can bring this home in a way that you and Slee will appreciate. Why are you interested in Clipped? What do you like about that subject matter?
Because I find the dynamic of power and race and misogyny and sex very compelling.
That's Vanderpump Rules.
And that's also Survivor.
But these people do not have dominion over people that I'm interested in. Like, for instance, the clipped story.
Yeah.
It had that Donald Sterling had agency over a basketball team or in a sport that I have interest in.
Lisa
I don't
Vanderpump
care what happens
has,
at the Vanderpump house.
Well, but she controls their life. She's the Donald Sterling in this story.
Yep.
Yeah, but they can go work at Chili's if they want, can't they?
They don't want to because then they won't be on TV.
Exactly.
And Emily, I think the reason that, we care about them is because they're all really good looking.
They're good looking and they have interesting drama. They fight, they say stupid things, and they're just interesting to watch the reactions.
Trav, you'll appreciate this. Emily, I don't think I've ever told you this story. So Lisa's,
I've never seen you so fired up
Lisa's
about it.
family.
Em has to be so excited that John came in basically saving her on this.
Right. No, so it's a day before her birthday. Emily, one night, my wife Lisa's family is all from Idaho. They came out here for the holidays 3-4 years ago. The only thing they wanted to do was go to Sir.
That's the name of the restaurant?
Which is one of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants that comes up on the show. So we go to Sir, and Ken, Lisa's husband, is walking around with Jiggy, her dog, who's kind of famous. I swear to you, I think Jiggy may have been stuffed at this point. Like wasn't opening his eyes, wasn't making any motions, and all. And so Ken comes over to the table. I go, "Hey, Ken," and like my Lisa's brother and his wife are ecstatic that they're meeting Ken.
Okay,
they can't believe it. And I went. I didn't have the guts to ask him if Jiggy was still alive.
When you go into Sir, is it Cirque? Sir,
SUR.
SUR.
You know what that stands for? Sexy Urban Restaurant.
Okay, when you're in
it's
Sir,
also next door to where I swim.
Are you as a guy or are you John Ireland, voice of the Lakers?
No, I didn't. I pulled no strings to get in.
Okay.
And so we go, and then you know who Peter is? The guy that's a bartender / manager at Sir?
Of course.
Yeah. So he comes up to me. Somebody tells Peter that I'm somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He comes up to me and he goes, "You're John, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, my wait staff's all going crazy back there because they're all a bunch of Laker fans." And I go, "Well, listen, man, if you ever want to go to a game, let me know." He goes, "Zero interest."
Can I tell you how much I respect that? I love that answer.
He goes, "Give him to somebody that would enjoy it."
That is just terrific. Marcus Grant is in for Mace today. Marcus,
do you watch any
have any idea
Bravo
what's happening
reality
right now?
TV?
Yeah,
turn
my mic on, right? I don't actively watch it,
right?
But my wife watches a lot of them. I have dated people in the past before I got married who watched a lot of them, so I am aware.
Do these names register with you?
Yes,
it has. Marcus, it has completely eluded Travis and Slee. They have no. Not only do they have no reference point, they didn't know who Tom Sandoval was when Emily brought it up.
I know Tom Sandoval. I know the basics. I was hearing you get into depth of Scandoval.
Yeah.
Like I just know the surface level version of it.
Right.
I still think that's a made up name. I still think this is a prank on Travis.
Just Google it, Slee. Just Google it. You'll get 100,000 entries on this.
So I went to Sir once, and this was like early on in these shows' history. Like it was just starting to get super popular.
But it was on television.
It was on television.
Okay.
It was on TV.
It was on the TV. You could watch it with your eyeballs. Yeah. I went to Sir, and look, I went to the bar, ordered myself an old fashioned, and Jax made my old fashioned.
All right, no, okay, back up.
This is a person that I need to be aware of.
Serial reality show addict. Like the guy's been on 4 different reality shows. He's probably 50.
Aren't you just an actor at this point?
Yes,
basically,
and not a very good one. But I'm surprised, Marcus, because most of the time I've gone into those places and I had Sheena once as a waitress, but most of the time I don't see anybody.
So I mean, like I said, this was early on, so they probably still actually had to work there. Jax made my old fashioned. Worst old fashioned I've ever had.
I bet. Yeah, I bet
Worst one ever.
they probably couldn't do it.
Too sweet?
It was like super bitter.
Oh, too much bitter.
And what's interesting too is the reason these shows, I don't know if you're the same as me, but the reason these shows are attractive is, I swear this is true. You watch this and you will feel, no matter what's going on in your life, you'll feel better about yourself because these people are all trained.
Like The Bachelor, Love is Blind.
Right.
This kind of goes back to something we were talking about earlier. Unfortunately, I am who I am, and I'm a cynical person.
Right.
Okay. It's how I'm wired. I can't help it. I try not to be, but my default setting is cynicism.
Okay.
I just assume it's all bull. You know what? I assume that it isn't their real life, that they're putting on a performance.
To a degree,
To a point, yes.
And I can't suspend disbelief long enough to go, oh, at least I'm not that, because that's just somebody doing a thing on TV that I find uninteresting.
So I'll give you an example of somebody on Vanderpump that I find somewhat fascinating.
Okay.
This girl, Sheena, is famous.
Great names.
Because Eddie Cibrian, an actor, really good-looking dude, was
familiar.
married to Emmett, was Brandy Glanville, right?
I'm not sure.
And Sheena had an affair with Cibrian. Sheena's really good looking. Had an affair with Cibrian and broke him up. All right. So she's actually famous for being the other woman, and then she's already been married twice. I don't even think she's 30. You know, it's this. These people are all modern day Elizabeth Taylors.
You are way deeper in the Bravo cinematic universe than
Marcus,
I've ever been.
I was just going to tell him the same thing. Like, there are two things that I've seen John get wildly animated for: Lakers and this.
Yeah,
Star-driven town and Vanderpump Rules.
These are star-driven town. These people are stars, Trav.
No, it makes sense. Like I said, I've learned a lot of it by osmosis. Like I know more about probably the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac than I ever cared to.
Yeah.
But my wife watches it. I walk through the room. I sit on the couch. I see some of it.
So do you know Phaedra? Because she's in Traitors.
Yes, I watched. She was actually very good on the Traitors.
She was really good. She was
great.
She was a traitor.
Trav, these are real people.
Yeah.
This is just a whole slice of American life that has bypassed the two of you.
So did you get introduced to this because of Lisa, or did you just
other way around?
She introduced it to her.
Yeah.
Because Marcus, what you're talking about, I think, is the way that maybe I might have bumped into it by osmosis.
I guarantee you, Susan knows some of these people.
She probably does because she's more online than I am.
I don't know if she would admit it.
She doesn't watch
she
the
knows
shows.
Some of these
like Susan
people.
and I watch TV together most nights.
Yeah.
She does not watch these shows.
Did you watch?
Can any of them guard Kyrie?
No. Did you watch the second clipped episode?
Not yet.
It is so good. Marcus, have you seen it
I
yet?
have not seen it yet.
Okay.
No, it's on my list.
I finally talked to Ramona today. You know, her world has crumbled because her father passed away last week at the exact same time this show is taking off. She's doing way better. She's actually like pretty much back to herself. She's going to take the rest of this week off, and then next week she'll come on and she'll get us some of the people from the show, and she's going to actually cover the NBA Finals. But I was talking to her today, and Travis, this is like if you watch Breaking Bad.
Sure.
Breaking Bad builds like a ladder. The first season is good. The second season's better. Third season, when Giancarlo Esposito comes in, Gus Fring, it takes off. And then the fourth and fifth seasons are in the stratosphere.
Sure.
That, when you see the second episode of Clipped, game on, man.
Really?
It's better. The first was good. The second one is better. Well, let me just tell you how it ends. It ends with V leaking the tape to TMZ, and Sterling is convinced it's no big deal. He doesn't realize. Andy Roser shows up at Sterling's house and says, "We got to talk." And Sterling goes, "If I wanted to talk to you, I would answer the 15 phone calls you left me. I have no interest." He goes, "You're not getting the gravity of this."
Yeah. Okay. I want to come back.
Okay.
We need to play stage. Let's do a little super crosstalk. Bonk. Thanks.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so I now have three things on my afternoon agenda.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to watch Paul Skenes pitch against the Dodgers.
Of course, yeah, 3:45.
Got to watch that. I'm going to go take my daily walk because if the second I stop, I'm never going to start again.
You got it.
So
Yeah.
I got it. So I got to do that, and I need to watch episode 2 of Clipped because I saw the premiere on Monday night with you and a bunch of other folks, and we were talking about it on Super Crosstalk yesterday, Marcus, and John obviously worked for the Clippers for a period of time and had some interactions with Sterling, and what you just said about how episode 2 ends where the tape breaks.
Right.
TMZ has it.
Yep.
And he thinks,
And everybody, Trav, is trying to convey to him the seriousness of this, and it eludes him.
That's the part that when we were talking about it yesterday that just doesn't land with me in any meaningful way, that even somebody who clearly is maybe in early stages of dementia or whatever it was that he was dealing with, but you dealt with him long before this, to be so oblivious to the way that I understand we all have blind spots to how but to that degree, to say something as explosive as he did and have zero understanding of what that means.
Well, I don't think so. Just because to listen to the tape, to hear it, the way he says it is just like
so nonchalant.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
but was he not thinking he was having a private conversation at that point?
He did. I don't think he cared.
Yeah. To Marcus's point, I don't think he knew he was being recorded, but that's the real guy. And when
he wouldn't have said that in a hot mic,
right? But no. When you hear it, Trav, he is trying to rationalize. And by the way, in episode 2, and this won't spoil anything, rather than just hearing the tape, they actually take you in the room where they have the conversation. So you see it play out in real time. And the Seth Burton, the PR guy, who was in here last week, because Seth now works for LAFC, Seth goes to Doc and says, I need to make you aware of something. There's going to be a tape between V. Stiviano.
How long was the tape circulating before it went public?
She sent it to Andy Roser.
Okay.
And so to basically send a warning shot to the Clippers, stop messing with me. Here's what I've got. They were taking away her tickets. They weren't returning her phone calls. She basically said, at one point she goes, let the games begin, because she knows what she's got. So she sends the tape to Roser. And Andy, who I know, does exactly what you should do if you're the president of an NBA team. He drives over to Sterling's house to have this conversation in person. Sterling tries to dismiss him, and Shelley is sitting in the other room. And Shelley hears Andy trying to explain to Donald Sterling, you don't realize that this is crippling and it could change your life forever. And Sterling looks at the two of them and goes, what is wrong with you people? It's gossip. It's nothing. Nothing is going to come of this. I don't do whatever you want with the tape. And Andy's like, Donald, you have to let me play it for you. He goes, I don't need to hear it. And Shelley goes, come in the kitchen and play it for me. Shelley hears it and goes on offense.
She knew.
She knew exactly what she said. We've got to pay her off to not release this. And before they get to that point, she sends it to TMZ, and that's how it ends.
Let's go. Emily,
I think that goes back to, Marcus, what you said, right? Like, it was so nonchalant, right? Like, and I haven't got a chance to watch it. I was planning to go on Monday and just been sick for a couple of days.
It is so uncomfortable to hear him say it. But to Marcus's point, the way he says it is so of somebody that so does not realize he's a racist.
I understand he's a racist. I understand that he either doesn't care or doesn't know, maybe both. Like, I get that. But you would know not to say that to somebody publicly.
At one point, but even privately, you wouldn't say what he says. But here's what he says at one point. She says to him, what do you have against black people? You employ an entire team of black people that are trying to win you a championship. And he said, who do you think gives them what they have?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I give them food. I give them cars. I give them clothing. And you go, oh, God, this is a plantation mentality. This guy doesn't get it. And she goes, so I don't understand. Where's this hatred coming from? And he said, I just don't understand why you have to be with him in public.
This is why I think this series, and like Winning Time and some other things along the way that I like so much, is that if you can suck me into the story, that I already know the story. I know how
it's
this ends.
It's why we were all crazy about all the OJ programming. We all knew what was going to happen. It didn't matter.
There was a new OJ thing that dropped over the weekend on Lifetime that I watched all
with
three.
All three Brown sisters? Yes, I watched all of it.
So did I. And I knew every part of these stories, maybe a little fact here or there, a quote here or there, but when you can tell a story that we all know Donald Sterling loses the Clippers. We know how it ends. Like, there really aren't any spoilers in any meaningful way. Right. And to still be able to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat and get you fired up like this is awesome.
Not having seen it, how is Ed O'Neill as Donald Sterling?
Stunning. I knew Donald Sterling. Obviously, I worked for him for 3 years.
Right.
His mannerisms, his cadence of speaking. Trev, you said it yesterday. Marcus, my biggest worry with this, and I said it to Ramona before they even started filming it, is I hope they don't run away from how weird Donald Sterling actually is. He's the weirdest rich guy I've ever met.
Which is saying a lot.
And, right.
It's a high bar.
And not only do they not stay, they lean into it. And Ed O'Neill, I cannot believe he says he never met Sterling and didn't know him. He had to watch it. The four main characters, Marcus, are casted so incredibly well. And when I say the four, it's Ed O'Neill as Donald Sterling. It's
Fishburne.
Cleopatra Coleman as V. Stiviano. Lawrence Fishburne as Doc. He's great. And Jackie Weaver is so good as Shelley Sterling. I've met Shelley several times. I said this to Ramona today. 10 minutes into this, I forgot I was watching an actress.
Wow.
So I thought I was watching Shelley Sterling.
I agree with 95% of what he said. You asked about Ed O'Neill.
Yeah.
The Jackie Weaver character, A+. Lawrence Fishburne, Doc Rivers, A+. Cleopatra Coleman, A+. Ed O'Neill is so famous to me. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to check out that that's Ed O'Neill and that's Al Bundy. That's the guy from Modern Family.
That's Jay Pritchard.
That was sort of my thing. Is that like at least watching? I was like watching the trailers and the clips I've seen. Like I can start to see Donald Sterling at least a little bit. But
I think you'll dive in.
I did have a fear of like, will this just be Jay Pritchett, but more but racist?
It's it's not quite that, but it like for whatever reason, and maybe it's because Lawrence Fishburne has been in so many different things. You've seen him play so many different roles that you just that's Doc Rivers and. I don't know Shelley Sterling, like what she looks like necessarily.
Well, and Jackie actually sounds like her.
So that's an easy one to kind of jump into. V. Stiviano had the welder's mask on half the time. I barely even remember what she looks like.
In episode 2, you will learn the origin of the mask.
So, but I've seen Ed O'Neill on TV for 35, 40 years.
Right.
It's hard not to see that guy, and
So-
he's terrific in it.
Is the cast so far? I know it's early on. John, you probably winning time cast. How they had
I'll tell you the
or
difference.
Clips
The
cast?
basketball
I'll tell you the
players.
difference. The players in Winning Time, the guy they got to play, Quincy Isaiah, the guy they got to play Magic, and
The guy who played Kareem was amazing.
Solomon Hughes, I think, is the guy who played Kareem, are perfect. The players are a little bit of a stretch. Like the guy playing Chris Paul, the guy playing Blake Griffin, the guy playing DeAndre Jordan, don't look exactly like him, don't sound like him. So you've got to suspend disbelief for the
nailed
players.
Alvin Gentry.
They nailed Alvin Gentry, and they nailed nailed JJ Redick, the guy who plays Redick. Actually, obviously watched tape of Redick because his mannerisms, the way he's playing, you can tell this guy played basketball.
No one is ever going to nail basketball casting in the way that whoever
Winning
cast
Time.
the Larry Bird guy in Winning Time.
Oh yeah,
that is the most uncanny. Not only because he looks like Bird, which I don't know about.
How you find someone?
I've never seen anybody look like Larry Bird other than Larry Bird and that guy. Right. So they found him. He could shoot like Bird. Like the way he moved his body was like Bird.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think some of it had to do with the pandemic. I don't know why Winning Time wasn't renewed for another season because I thought it was great. I know that it didn't help that in the beginning the people associated with the Lakers dismissed it. Magic said, "Watch my doc." Jeannie said, "Watch my doc." The Winning Time people said, "Just watch it and see what you think." By the end, Jeannie embraced it, but I think that it didn't have any momentum. Clipped is great.
It's terrific.
Everybody's going to love it.
How did Emily do for you guys yesterday?
Killed it, and she won Game of Games.
You didn't tell me that part, Em.
Yeah, I did.
What was the topic?
It was Donald
It was about
Sterling.
Clipped.
It was Clipped, and I hadn't even seen the episodes at that point in time, so I just
but all the
blew away.
questions were
Multiple choice.
you wouldn't have had to watch the show.
Okay.
Yeah, Marcus hasn't seen you would have done fine at it. It was all questions
But
about stuff.
One of the ones I would have, if I would watch the show beforehand, it would have been helpful. Donald Sterling's real last name, because at the white party they say like Donald T. Sterling,
right?
And so T would have gotten.
I knew that Sterling was not his last.
Yeah.
His
so
given
I said
last name.
I gave him three choices: Tokowitz, Horowitz, Rabinovitz.
Tokowitz.
Yeah. Tokowitz was his name.
Yeah, the T.
And then he changed it.
All right, so I don't know if you remember this or not. This was a year or two ago, Em, probably 2 years ago.
Are we going where I think we're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you and Mace were doing the show, and I had a stat that I really liked that Al had no interest in, that you had no interest in, that Mason had no interest in.
What was the stat?
It was the one. Anybody that
still don't know
beaten,
fully.
No,
Yeah.
I got it now. Anybody who has beaten the Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs has ultimately ended up in the World Series. Okay, I thought that was just the most, and you gave me that look right there. That's the one. Okay, I have another one for you today.
Okay.
This is deeply interesting to me.
All right.
And
maybe only you?
And maybe only
Yeah.
me. Maybe
Okay.
only me, but I'm going to try again. The Edmonton Oilers will play in the Stanley Cup Finals starting on Saturday against the Florida Panthers.
First finals for Connor McDavid, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Corey Perry is on the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
Corey Perry is a former MVP of the NHL.
And former Anaheim Duck.
Former
We used
Anaheim
to live
Duck.
2 doors down from my mother in Corona
There
del
you
Mar.
go. Stanley Cup champion with
Yeah.
the Anaheim Ducks. This will mark the 5th different team that Corey Perry has been on that has reached the Stanley Cup final. That's an NHL record.
So you're telling me he's Robert Horry?
I was going to say,
Was he on 5 different teams?
He was on 3 different teams, but he won 7 rings.
Okay, but this is 5 separate, and 4 of them have come at the end of his career, where he's just hopped around on a new team. Basically,
there was a scandal in Chicago.
The only
when
reason
he got
he's
run out.
in Edmonton is because he got ran out of Chicago because he was allegedly doing something inappropriate with the top prospect's mother. That's so,
which they have all denied.
They've all denied it.
Even like Corey denied it. Connor denied it.
Everybody has denied it.
The team denied it.
They also sent him home and never let him come back.
Yeah, he did something.
So
He did
something
something.
happened. Is this another one of those "this is just me" things? 5 different teams?
I think that's kind of impressive. I mean, the name that
Ooh,
comes
you're
to
on
mind
to
is
something, Trav.
is
You got one.
is Will Smith, the pitcher Will Smith, not the catcher, because didn't he go to like 3 or 4 World Series in a row with different teams?
I think
it was like
at
Braves,
least
it was
3.
like Braves, Astros, Rangers.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
But it was like 3 years in a row with 3 different teams. He ended up in the World Series.
Corey Perry had played for the Ducks for like 12 or 13 years. Played for him forever, and then he just started bouncing around. And anyway, this is another one of those times.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about the Stanley Cup final. I think it's going to be good.
They got 2 of the 3 or 4 best players in the whole league.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a stat equal to yours that you probably won't be impressed with.
Try me out.
11 years in a row. 11. The team that wins the President's Trophy, which is the team that has the most regular season points, has failed to make the finals. 11
That's
years.
crazy.
So it's like if you have the best record, it's
Start to
almost
tank at the end.
Right? Just
it's
to-
almost counterproductive to you winning the cup, right? Like the Kings, when they won the cup, were never even a number 1 seed,
They were an
and they
8
won it
seed
twice.
one year. They were an 8 seed one of those
Yeah.
seasons. Anyway,
There's got to be like a reason for that, though, right? Like you're just kind of coasting in, whereas like if you have to fight to get into the playoffs, like you're in playoff mode for a while.
Yeah.
Right, but how do you? I mean, do you lean into that stat if you're winning and you have the best record? Do you maybe sit guys and try and back into the
let's get
second
into
best
second
record?
place. Let's make sure. Let's go on a 5-game losing streak.
Because
going
you don't have
into
to
the
worry about the
playoffs.
team that has the first best record. They're not getting in the finals.
I can't wait to find out what fires you up as much as reality TV next.
Well,
that was
but
an
I'm
unexpected
not,
surprise.
I think Emily runs deeper than I do. Like I watch Bravo stuff, like Below Deck, Vanderpump Rules, Real Housewives. I'm not as into Survivor, Big Brother, those
The
type
Challenge.
of things.
Oh, I
Yeah.
watched The Challenge. Yeah.
Is that the Fred Rogan show?
It used to be.
Once
Before-
upon a
I watched
time.
that.
before they ushered Fred into an early retirement.
Yeah, just TV business for you, right?
Right
Supercross Talk is brought to you by In-N-Out. In-N-Out,